you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
What's holding you back from solving your tax problems? If it's cost, know that the longer you wait, the more expensive it'll be. Hi, this is Kerry Bryson with the Bryson Law Firm in Baton Rouge. Tax resolution doesn't have to be expensive, and waiting year after year to resolve your tax problems can be extremely costly. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. So take the first step now and hire a tax attorney to help you. Call us at the Bryson Law Firm. We'll tell you in advance an affordable fee, which includes cost and expenses that works for your business or family. Your first visit to the Bryson Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. But the longer you wait, the more interest and penalties you'll pay. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Bryson Law Firm. Call us today or go to brysonlawfirm.com.
This is Skip Bertman, and as a coach for over 50 years and the father of 4 daughters, we've had a lot of happiness and accumulated lots of stuff. Dependable Storage wants your stuff. Now open in Baton Rouge. Visit DependableStorage.com.
Insurance companies have teams of professionals to fight your claim. If you want to know what your case is really worth, I'm Spencer Callahan. I'd like to help.
Spencer Callahan is the one to see. Call 387-2323.
Offices in Baton Rouge.
104.5 WNXX Jackson, 104.9 KNXX Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour is brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Good morning. It's 7 a.m. on Tuesday, May 4th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see thunderstorms with a high of 86. Coming up today on Off the Bench, presented by All-Star Toyota, LSU head football coach Ed Ogeron stops by at 7:30, and Nick Underhill talks Saints at 9:30, presented by former Tiger and attorney Chris Perrette. Remember, we have our OTB mailbag today, so get your questions in. Tweet them, ask them in the YouTube chat using the hashtag OTB mailbag, and we'll get them answered at 8:15. You can follow today's show on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN or by subscribing to our YouTube for new content every day. You can also check us out on Cox Sports Television. Hour number 1 of Off the Bench starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, Peter said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, and welcome into OTB. Jake here. Not a T-Bob, but we do have a moose.
Miss me?
Yeah, I mean, it's been so long.
Y'all miss me?
It's been so long since you had to move to the Death Star, because it is May the 4th.
And T-Bob's not even here on Star Wars Day.
Here, but I bet he's got a full Chewbacca costume on in Cabo. At least I hope not. Just him with his shirt off. Because we have not yet waxed his chest from the subscribers getting to a certain
with
point.
duct tape, mind you.
We are close, though. Of course, Mario and Danny behind the glass here with us as well. ESPN 104.5 Baton Rouge, 100.3 in New Orleans, 94.7 in Alexandria, and 11:30 a.m. The Tiger, and as well on Cox Sports TV. A lot to get to. We do have a great show. Moose will be here hanging out for a while. We've got Justin Vincent coming to sit in studio at 9 o'clock. We've got Jake Crane of the J-Boy Show at 8. We've got Zach Von Rosenberg at 9:15, Nick Underhill, New Orleans Football. We've also got, of course, the head football coach of your LSU Tigers. A heavy show here today.
Load it up, man. I'm ready to do it.
All right, let's go ahead and get right into it then. Let's go ahead and have some headlines presented by Barbecue Guys.
OTB headlines are brought to you by Barbecue Guys. They're your one-stop shop for everything outdoor kitchens and living. Barbecue Guys, helping America host better barbecues since 1998.
All right, LSU baseball improves to 27-17 on the season. They get a 10-2 win over the Southern Jaguars. Dylan Cruz and Drew Bianco each homered Monday to help the Tigers get that victory over at Alec Box Stadium. No surprise they get the victory. Now the Tigers return to action at 6:30 on Thursday when they open up a 3-game SEC series at Auburn. Thursday's game will be televised on ESPNU and can be heard on the affiliates of LSU Sports Radio Network. Of course, Eagle 98.1 here with us. That's a big series, Moose. I mean, this is your opportunity. You have a chance. You no longer have we're playing a top 10 team in the country. You've got the Auburn Tigers. You've got to go out. 2 of 3 is the minimum.
And it's the team that's at the bottom of the standings, but it's also a team that won their first series last week as well. So it's May. Everyone's going to be playing a little bit better than they were, say, in March. So huge series, but the Tigers, it's one that they have to have. There's no other way.
All right, LSU used 8 pitchers last night. Obviously, during these midweek contests, trying to find some arms. As we know, the bullpen has absolutely struggled. Trying to find some arms that they can use on the weekend. Anybody show you of the 8 pitchers that they can contribute against Auburn this weekend?
Well, Ty Floyd looked really, really good last night. Probably the best he's looked in about 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
The breaking stuff was good, and the fastball was its normal 93 to 94. So if Ty Floyd has that type of secondary stuff to complement his fastball, he can definitely contribute for you back on the weekend. Also, Javen Coleman continues his hot run.
I'd like to see him in the weekend and like a 1-inning situation, maybe not even extended. Like let him go out there, all gas, no breaks, let it loose for 1 inning to see what he can do.
I'm all for it, man. Look, piece it together if you have to.
All right, but before we move on from baseball, and yes, it was a 10-2 victory for LSU. I definitely think the highlight of the night was Matthew Beck with an Oppo single to right field.
Yep. Matthew Beck, he's your hero. He's my hero. He's your hero's hero. He's just everybody's hero.
He's Paul Maneri's hero. Here is Paul Maneri on Matthew Beck getting the hit.
Clearly the highlight of the day was Matthew Beck coming off the bench. You know, Gavin Dugas was having a rough day. We needed a spark, and he did his best Todd Peterson imitation today. I told him I was a little disappointed. You know, Peterson has a little more power, but I was very impressed with Beck's approach with 2 strikes hitting to the opposite field. That was 103 miles an hour off the bat to the opposite field. We don't have many hitters on our team that hit the ball that hard to the opposite field. I might have to rethink this. Maybe, you know, Trey Morgan might be starting to worry about that first base job. I don't know.
Coach is talking about his power, 103 miles an hour. Coach, that's power.
That's pretty good. Of course, Matthew Beck. Now, he's an athlete. Played quarterback at high school at Ash. Actually, it was DJ Chark's high school quarterback, so we all know that. But it was good to see him. We know he's got the arm injury, not going to pitch this year. He came back for that extra year. He is, you know, as seasoned a vet as you'll find on any baseball team. So devastating. He couldn't pitch, so it is good to see him at least have this moment that he'll always be able to share.
100%, man. And you know what? Pitchers are athletes too, okay? They'll be the first ones to tell you they're athletes too, and Matthew Beck showed that.
All right, as we move on, the New Orleans Pelicans lose 123-108 to the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry goes for 41 points, and the playoff hopes to get to the play-in game for the New Orleans Pelicans take a major, major hit. Mario was in attendance at the Blender last night. It got out of hand pretty early, Mario.
Yeah, first 2 minutes made the difference in the game. Stan Van Gundy talked about it afterwards, down 11-1, 14-3. After that, it was a game of runs, but the Pelicans come up short, and it looks like they're going to come up short as far as the postseason goes. So,
all right, so they're going to come up short of the postseason. This is the second year in a row with Zion. There will be no postseason. It feels like drastic moves have to be made in the offseason to be able to get this team where they want to be.
Significant moves. I don't know about drastic, but definitely some significant.
Well, anytime you look at what they got back for Anthony Davis, and some of those pieces could possibly be gone, like you don't want to overstate it, but it feels like there will be a lot of movement on the roster at least.
For sure. Crucial offseason for David Griffin and the Pelicans.
And they'll have another lottery pick yet again. They got plenty of those. They got plenty of draft choices. That's something I'd like to see them maybe move for a veteran player. But, yeah, the New Orleans Pelicans lose to the Warriors, and, again, their playoff chances take a major, major hit. All right, in LSU softball news, Ali Kilponen had a day, tossed a one-hitter for number 14 LSU in a victory against number 7 Arkansas. It was game 1 of a doubleheader. They do drop the second game 4-1. This was a great series. Game 1 was a 1-0 victory for Arkansas. LSU comes back and they get the tight victory, just could not finish it in the end. But Arkansas is the best team statistically right now in the SEC. So you went out there, you battled. This softball team is going to be there in the postseason with a chance to win.
And you know what? It's probably a team you don't really want to see in the postseason if you're on the other side of the diamond. They have been battle tested, and that can only serve you well in postseason play. Depending on the draw that they get, they can make a serious run.
Looking forward to seeing how that all plays out. The SEC, as we all know, is just completely stacked. So many great teams there at the top. Anytime you have a sport where most of the years, all 13 teams that play softball make the postseason, you know you're going to be battle tested.
That's ridiculous.
All right. In LSU men's tennis news, the LSU men's tennis team will be making its first trip to the NCAA tournament since 2016, where the Tigers will face Stanford and Virginia on May the 7th. Number 5, Virginia hosts a regional and will face Fairleigh Dickinson household, school that we always talk about. In the opening match, the winner of LSU, Stanford, and Virginia and Fairleigh Dickinson will face in the second round on May the 8th. This is the 32nd NCAA tournament appearance by LSU men's tennis in their history. So it has been a long time. The tennis programs, and we'll get to the women's here in a second, seem to be elevating their play. Who knew?
I mean,
we did, because we tell you
every day. Every day, it seems like there's positive news coming out of the tennis complex over there on campus.
Speaking of the women's tennis team, the LSU Tennis Complex will host the NCAA tournament Baton Rouge Regional as the number 12 seeded LSU women's tennis team, 14-5 on the year, will host the Boston University.
No, that's UMass. The Braves. No. The
Boston Braves.
Boston Braves.
Terriers. You weren't going to get there. Michigan Wolverines and the Rice Owls beginning on Friday, May the 7th. So good luck to them. Look, they've been doing a nice job over there. So both tennis teams, much like the track teams at LSU, we talked about them yesterday, elevating their play. The track team, of course, number 1 in the country in both men's and women's. All right, that is your headlines brought to you by Barbecue Guys. When we come back, we are going to do a little deep dive into some of the NFL draft numbers by conference. Probably won't be surprised which one had the most guys selected. All that and more when we come back here on OTB.
OTB headlines are presented daily by Barbecue Guys. Remember, the most popular grill on the market is Blaze Grills, premium gas grills that combine expert engineering and dependable performance, all backed by a best-in-class lifetime warranty. Visit barbecueguys.com or our local showroom to learn more about Blaze Grills. Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, brought to you every single day by Central Plumbing. I don't know what T's doing in Cabo without his number 1 contact, but hopefully all is going well. And Central Plumbing is not only residential for T-Bob and their family, right? Commercial as well. So if you've got a business and you've got an issue, they can come in, they can fix it. They can also set everything up. Don't forget about that. They can come in, they can install whatever you need. I love the fact that you can get a consultation for a bathroom remodel, right? If you want to get a new shower, a new tub, new tile, all of those things, new fixtures, they can do it all. Something I know that they've done for me is they worked on my water heater. I have a tankless water heater. There was a company that came out and said, man, you need a completely new system. Central Plumbing came out and said that is not the case. All you need is a small part, and it was a quick fix, and it was a much cheaper fix, and it was back working like it was supposed to. You can find them online for more information at centralplumbing.org or 24/7 emergency services at 225-925-8552.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
What if you could truly energize your body and mind from the most fundamental level? Your cells. Cellivate is a revolutionary health-aware approach to energy, focus, and mood enhancement, packing everything you need to optimize your mind and body from the inside out. The unique formula combines top-notch cellular energizers, nootropics, herbal extracts, and powerful antioxidants, all in one sugar-free 12-ounce can. Elevate your cells. Salivate.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with a certified pre-owned vehicle.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Bayou Ford is open for business, and we want to earn your business. Stop in and see our selection of the latest Ford cars and trucks, as well as a variety of quality pre-owned vehicles, with prices starting as low as $5,000. Bayou Ford will get you the transparent information you're looking for, and when you're ready to purchase your new vehicle, provide the professional service you deserve. Located off I-10 on Belterre Boulevard in LaPlace. If you need sales,
hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. What undrafted free agents have the best chance to make the Saints roster? We're talking about it and recapping the Warriors' Pels. Join us, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back into OTB. Moose sitting in for the vacationing T-Bob A-Bear, and we're going to talk a little NFL draft, but a little bit different viewpoint. We're going to break it down by conference. As we kind of joked on Friday, Moose, the Big 12 had 0 first-round selections.
Ouch.
Which is very hard to believe.
When you have schools like Oklahoma and Texas, that's extremely hard to believe. And even Oklahoma State to some extent, 'cause I mean, they've had some guys come through that program. To have 0, ugh.
The SEC obviously had first-round selections. They had 6 from one school.
Nah, we don't talk about them.
That's why I said one school. But 65 selections overall. 65. The next closest was the Big 10 at 44, followed by the ACC had 42. The Pac-12 had 28. The Big 12 only had 22. And you can bet this is something that SEC schools go into the state of Texas. Maybe they go into the Carolinas. They go into the state of Florida, and they will have these stats. And if they want to go get someone from the West Coast, they'll have the Pac-12 stats. But the state of Texas is where my mind went because LSU always does a really nice job of going into Texas and getting really good football players. I mean, we could sit here and we could list all of them, Jamal Adams and all the guys. When you have 22 players, we have 65 players. You had no first-round picks. We had however many within the SEC. Those are things that you can recruit to. Like, I've been a part of the recruiting process. Trust me, there is letters, and there will be letters sent that have all of these stats, and it will be broken down. They'll also have a stat that has how many millions of dollars the first-round picks from this conference got compared to this conference, and you have to use all of these tools in recruiting because, look, if you want to get to the NFL, which is everyone that signs on the dotted line on signing day's goal, you're going to use everything you can.
I don't know how deep those numbers you have over there go, but if you said the Big 12 had 22 players taken in the entire draft, I'd like to see how that stacks up to how many players the SEC had taken just in the first round. Because like you said, a school that should not be named had 6, and that's the high mark, of course.
12 players in the first round for the SEC.
Over half.
And then when you go into the second round, 12.
Yeah. So
the first 2 rounds, they had 2 more.
2 more than you had in your entire draft. And that can't scream SEC bias on that because guess what? NFL scouting departments, those people aren't biased. They're just looking for the best football players, and they're noticing they come out of the Southeastern Conference. And to your point, don't think that's not being talked about in living rooms across America.
It definitely is, and this is a record for a conference in draft selections. The SEC beats the SEC, who previously had the record. That was at 63. This one's at 65. And so another feather in the cap for the Southeastern Conference. And look, y'all know me. I'm not the guy that chants SEC. I don't root for the other SEC teams, but every school can use this. Every school can use this to their advantage. They can say, come play the best, come put yourself against the best on tape so NFL scouts can see this because we mentioned it yesterday. Actually, that was on the other show, my SEC show. But I mentioned it yesterday. Josh Palmer, the receiver from Tennessee. He's a guy, and he was inconsistent, and you're wondering, man, he's got some talent. He's averaging over 21 yards per catch. Like, I'm missing something. Like, I'm feeling like something's missing because when he has a play, it's a big play, and you have to start doing a deep dive into it. When the Chargers selected him in the 3rd round, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm like, him in the 3rd round, there's some receivers I liked a little bit better. But then you hear the conversation that the coach had with him on the phone when they drafted him. He said, hey, we scouted corners over the last 2 years, and every corner we scouted, you kept showing up. You were there. Now, you might not have gotten the ball some of these times, but we saw the routes you ran. We saw how open you were, and he basically said you had Jarrett Garantano as your quarterback, and we understand that. But to his point, like, look, we saw you against, Surtain and all the corners that went in this year's draft, and even the corners that went in last year's draft, the Marco Wilsons that went in this draft. We saw you. We saw what you did. We weren't really trying to scout you, but you kept showing up, and that's something that you're going to get in the SEC when you have so many draft choices.
We talk about that all the time with LSU. I mean, what, in 2019, how much of the narrative was, man, how much fun must it be to watch Jamar Chase go up against Derek Stingley every single day in practice?
It was a lot of fun because I was there.
You can attest to it, right? So, yeah, I imagine you do get a lot of that in the SEC. You could talk about it for other teams. Surtain going against, Devontae Smith every day, or even the Tennessee guy going against the corners across the SEC. Yeah. It's an embarrassment of riches that 14, maybe 13 out of 14 schools, but it's an embarrassment of riches for one region of the country.
Vanderbilt had a guy. They had a guy. Arkansas only had one as well. And
that's going to change, I feel like, here shortly.
That was intriguing to me because that tells me they've got a little bit coming back. Now, I know they had like Felipe Franks and Boyd signed as undrafted free agents, but that's a team that played hard. They had some talent, a lot more juice than they've had in the past, right? So I wonder how much they have coming back, and that's when you start to peel back the layers of how much you really lose. Like LSU, 7 guys drafted. You expect, man, 7 guys drafted. You had 14 a year ago, 21. It's the most ever in a 2-year span. But as we'll talk about with Coach O, yes, you lose 7 guys, but 3 of those guys opted out before the season. 1 opted out in the season, and you had 1 guy in Racey McMath that only played 6 of the 10 games. And so you have to do a deeper dive to find out exactly what you're losing. Like, I feel like Missouri losing 5 and Kentucky losing 6 and Florida losing 8, like, they are going to be way more effective because Florida's best player, Kyle Pitts, that they lost, well, he played basically a full season. Jamar Chase, obviously, we know, did not step on the field in 2020. So for having 7 guys drafted from an LSU viewpoint, you really don't lose a ton as far as what you had on the field a year ago. Terrace Marshall obviously being the 1 guy.
And LSU's losses weren't really at positions of, great importance, right? They didn't lose their starting quarterback. They lost Terrace Marshall, and that, he was your number 1 receiver, but when he opted out, you saw what Kayshon Boutte can do in that role, and you feel pretty good about that. You lose Jacoby Stevens, who played hard his entire career at LSU and had a great career at LSU, did anything the team asked him.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody's going to sit here and say that safety was a strength on that team. And you've brought in a lot of guys, right? So it's a good outlook. Cole Kublik said it the best.
Does Cole sleep?
Cole doesn't sleep. No, he doesn't. And that's one reason he's phenomenal at his job. Of the six players, they had only played in 33 games. Then you add on the seventh, and Kerry Vincent opted out.
Yeah.
He didn't play for you last year. So 7 players were drafted, only 33 games. A lot coming back for LSU.
There is. And another stat that I really liked over the NFL draft weekend, and it came from my guy, Peter Burns. 2021 NFL draft picks faced last college football regular season. Georgia faced 43. Alabama, 42. A&M, 41. And then it trickles down. Clemson, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, Cincinnati. And then Ohio State only faced 9 guys that were drafted. So Georgia at 43. A&M at 41, who was pushing for that final playoff spot. Ohio State only played 9 guys.
Ohio State only played 9 guys?
Only played 9 draft choices a year ago.
Is that just in the regular season? Or they counted?
Regular season.
Okay, I was about to say,
yeah.
they played Alabama.
Regular season. Lord. So you take Clemson and you take Alabama out of it. But
that makes sense.
Only 9 guys.
That makes sense then.
So
6-game season. Then they missed. That's all they got him was supposed to be a 10
though,
game.
Just think within the SEC, if you played Alabama, you played 1 more than 9. Yeah. And if you played LSU, you played only 2 less than Ohio State faced.
That's
the entire
wild.
year.
That's wild.
So these are the kind of stats that aren't that surprising, and these are the kind of stats that you don't have to chant SEC to be able to try to use it for you in your advantage if you're trying to get that final playoff spot. Like when you're Texas A&M last year and you're the 5 seed, you're the last one left out, then you try to pull out all these type of stats that you can to try to make your case and build that resume and say, hey, we faced the best of the best. We faced 41 draft choices. They've only faced 9. I mean, you will try to do everything you can to try to paint the picture that is a reality. It's not something that you're trying to counterfeit. It's not something that's fake. No, we know what the SEC is, and that's why they're going to get the benefit of the doubt because they play against the best every single year. And I try to get that through some of my guys' heads when we do SiriusXM radio. I'm looking at you, Danny. Like, that is why we talk about this all the time, because the proof is in every piece of research that we do.
It's a good league. It's a great league, and it's only getting better. And it's stats like these that are only going to help it get better. Because when you're a high school kid, what you're thinking is, I want to get to the league. I want to go to the next level. Well, there's the conference that gets you to the next level the most.
All right, before we take a break and get to Coach Joe Moose, out of the LSU guys drafted, and let's take Jamar out of this picture because obviously getting back with Joe Burrow being the 5th overall pick, it'd probably be the answer here. Which landing spot did you like for any former Tiger?
I mean, it's hard to not pick Terrace Marshall going back with Joe Brady. That's a really, really good idea. Joe knows what he can do. It's not great from a Saints perspective because it's another Tiger in the NFC South, not in the black and gold. That's a good one. I think Jabril Cox going to the Cowboys is good because they did draft Micah Parsons in the first round, so you imagine he will start. But it gives Jabril Cox, who's got all the ability in the world, a chance to sit and learn and ease his way into the NFL a little bit more. And I think that could only benefit him. And then I will go back to Jacoby Stevens again as well, who I was shocked had to wait as long as he did for his name to be called. But Jacoby landing with the Eagles, I think is a good spot. I mean, they had a lot of good success with Jalen Mills. And Jalen Mills was the guy who could play corner or safety. Well, Stevens is the guy who can play linebacker or safety. So there might be even greater versatility there, and I like that spot a lot for him.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat. I think Jacoby's going to be a dog in the NFL.
I think he's going to be great.
And when I say that, I'm not saying he's going to be a 5-time Pro Bowler, but when I say he's going to be a dog, he is going to do everything he can to make his team better, to make the roster. It might be only a special teams dog, but as we know, those are important as well in the NFL. And I can raise my hand because, as y'all have heard me say, I have been on an NFL team that was number 1 in offense, number 1 in defense, and did not make the postseason. Number 1 in both offense and defense. You know why? Because we were 32nd in special teams. That's why we did not make the postseason. So I am a big teams guy. Jacoby, Racing McMahon, those guys are going to have a role from day one on teams. But I think I agree with your first choice there, Terrace Marshall. Hard not to say he's going to be an impact guy from day one, getting back with Joe Brady. They lose Curtis Samuel in free agency, so there's a spot. I know they're different receivers, but still there's going to be catches that are available in that offense. They want to push the ball down the field. They got Sam Darnold, who has a very lively arm. They've got the running game if Christian McCaffrey can actually stay healthy. A lot to like about Terrace Marshall going to Carolina. I know he wanted to go earlier. I realize he lost millions of dollars. Let's call it like it is. But you'll have a chance on the back end to make that up because I think from day one you will be integrated into that Carolina Panthers offense. All right, we do need to take a break. We'll do it now. Coach O, when we come back here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, brought to you by All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge. You can find them online, allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com. And like we tell you every single day, it doesn't really matter which four guys we have or four girls we have in this room. Like, it doesn't matter what the makeup is of this room because they're going to have something for everybody. No matter what you need, if you need a sedan, if you need a hybrid, if you need a truck, if you need a midsize, a full-size SUV, they've got you covered. And the thing that I found surprising, I just always assume whenever we go to buy a new car, we're only going to have one option, the full-size Big Daddy SUV that, fits all the car seats and the sports equipment. I was shocked to find out they had multiple SUVs, including some of the midsize SUVs and the 4Runner and the Highlander that actually, they met all of our needs. Like, we drive the 4Runner around town now, and it is perfectly fine. Plenty of room for me, the boys, and the missus. So go check them out. Again, allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com. Find your vehicle today over at allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Yo, Jacob Hester here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, the place that can be at your convenience during those inconvenient times. I know they've been that for me. I've got 4 boys, right? So sometimes stitches happen, and they have 6 convenient locations, one close to you to be able to be convenient for you. Remember, you can also check in online. PatientPlusUC.com is the website. That way you skip the line as well. Patient Plus Urgent Care Center. Get in and get better.
I've been doing business with Louisville for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, Trolling Motors. At Front to Back, they got not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to Front to Back Boat Service.
50 years ago.
Join us for a Tuesday's edition of Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers, live from Mike Anderson Seafood from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We continue to recap the NFL Draft and why it was a bloodbath for the Vegas bookmakers. We got action. It's Game Time. 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back into OTB. It's Tuesday. It's 7:30, so you know what that means. We're joined now by the head coach of the LSU Fighting Tigers. Of course, we're talking about Coach O. Coach, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, guys. Great to be on the show.
All right, Coach. So in the last 2 years, let's go ahead and start in the NFL Draft. 21 players selected from LSU. That is a record, and I know you've got to be proud, one, of the 21 guys, but what a story you can tell everyone saying, hey, look at what we've done. 21 guys over the last 2 years. You come here, you're going to play in the NFL.
No question. We use it for recruiting, and, that's what we went into the homes and told everybody. Jamal, his family was so appreciative at the draft. Say, Coach, everything you told us in recruiting happened. And it's like that with most of our recruits now. Some of them went lower than expected. But you know what? The big thing is just get there. Once you get there, make the team and have a great career. Jake, you know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you get there, kind of the draft grade and the draft round for the most part, coaches, coaching in the NFL, that kind of goes to decide it's what can you do. You can be a 6th-round pick, Coach. If you make those 2-3 plays in training camp, they don't really care where you're selected.
Exactly right. So everybody has an opportunity. I'm glad all the guys, they're great young men, great families. I know they're excited. I talked to most of them. They can't wait to get to work.
All right, Coach. So with that being said, 21 guys, obviously 14 from a year ago, 7 from this draft. But what's crazy is when you peel back the layers, yes, 7 guys drafted that won't be on the team this year, but you only have 33 games played from those 7 players. You got 10 from Jacoby, you got 10 from Jabril Cox, you've got 7 from Terrace Marshall, and 6 from Racy McMath. So losing 7 guys, but only losing 33 games of productivity on the field, that's kind of hard to do. So that's a good sign for this team moving forward.
Yes, it is. Although those guys were very good players, did a lot for LSU. It's not like the year before where we lost all those guys that went to the NFL. And the COVID rule really helped us getting the offensive line and defensive line back. I think that was a big plus for us.
Hey, Coach, this is Matt Musso. I wanted to ask you about an individual guy in Tyler Shelvin going to the Bengals, of course, reuniting with some former 2019 teammates there. But Shelvin's a guy whose career at LSU has been well chronicled. He just improved tremendously each year, really hit his peak there in 2019 before opting out due to the pandemic. What do you think it just says for a guy like Tyler Shelvin who has never quit fighting and has now found his way to the NFL?
I'm so proud of Big T. The one thing I asked him when he told me he was opting out, I said, okay, I'm going to support you. That's your system. I want you to lose weight. I don't know how big he was, but he was over 380 for sure. And when he came to his pro day, I think he was right at 350. So I know he was working out. He looks good. I think Cincinnati is a great spot for him with Jamar and Joe there. They got a great program there. If they wanted him, he's excited. He's hungry. I think he's doing very well.
Yeah, and Coach, you just said, Joe's there, Jamar's there, now Thaddeus Moss is there as well in Cincinnati. And I can just tell you, I had an LSU teammate when I got drafted into the NFL. Buster Davis was already on the team, and that can go a long way. That can help you because it's a different time. You're moving somewhere that you're not familiar with, and I think for Tyler especially, that is a really good thing for him to have the franchise quarterback and the number 1 pick be his college teammates, and they can kind of all stay together and help each other out.
Yes, and show him the ropes. So and Jamar's going to need it too, but that's what Joe is. Joe's a leader, so. He's got 2 great players. I know he wants to play well. He's going to show them the work. Those guys are going to learn together. Can't wait to watch the Bayou Bengals.
All right, Coach, before we move on from the draft and we talk about this year's team, how about this number? The SEC had 65 guys drafted. The next closest conference was the Big Ten at 44. But, of course, I'm not telling you anything that you don't see every time you turn on the tape to get ready for an opponent.
Everybody wants to come to the SEC. Not everybody. Most people. A lot of great coaches here, a lot of great players, very great area to recruit in the South. And, we compete at a high level here. This is just like a notch below playing in the NFL. So guys get developed. Great coaching staffs, as you guys know, across the SEC. That's why they come here.
Coach, I mean, that's factual when you say that, because I can tell you personally, the jump from high school to college was greater for me than the jump from college to the NFL, because I just remember playing in the NFL, my first couple of preseason games, it's like, hey, I know you played you on Saturday, played you on Saturdays, played you on Saturdays. And that is like factual. And when you get that opportunity to play against these guys every single Saturday, the jump isn't as great than when you're going from, high school at Evangel Christian trying to play at LSU.
That's right. And you're looking at practice, right, Jake?
Yeah.
That's practice. You're going to get some All-Americans, some first-round draft choices. Sometimes practice is harder than the game.
Hey, Coach, there's no disrespect. There's no walk-ons. I mean, this is a deal when you're playing, when you're practicing in the NFL, that guy was probably an All-American in some conference that's on the practice squad there. So you're exactly right. There's no off days there.
No, you got to. You know what? As you know, you got to be mentally tough. I was talking to Eli Manning the other day and Peyton Manning, and those guys, as you know, great guys, but they played so long in the NFL, and the thing I got out of them, first, great people, but their mental toughness. And you need that. You know that. You play in the NFL.
All right, Coach, as we kind of move forward and we start talking about this year's team, what's the schedule look like? I know this is a little bit of a downtime, which I'm sure you are getting everything ready for recruiting now that dead period has finally been lifted for the beginning of June. So what's the schedule kind of looking like for the month of May?
As far as recruiting, we're FaceTiming our recruits. We have some official visits set in the weekends of June. We have our camp set. Most of our guys are coming to camp. Most of our guys are responding. We're having a great response right now. We have a very good recruiting class, and we're going to continue to get better. And then our coaches are also doing self-scout. And as you know, Jacob, self-scout's like beating yourself up. Yeah. You go in there, we're not doing this right, we're not doing this right. But I want you guys to look at us first, fix LSU first, before we move on. Then next week, we've done 3 weeks of self-scout. Then next week, we're going to move on to UCLA.
Coach, when that recruiting dead period finally gets lifted, which it seems like it's been about 2 years, it's only been about one. How excited are you going to be that first day you can have kids back on campus?
It's going to be great. That's one part about being at LSU, that you can recruit great players and meeting the parents and having relationships. I'm just excited on the weekend that we can have these guys over, show them our new facility. We haven't had a recruiting weekend with our new facility yet. I think these guys will love everything we're doing.
And not only that, not only being able to show them, Coach, we've talked about it, showing them all the new trophies and a new facility, which obviously that stuff all plays, and showing them the NFL wall that we just talked about with all the guys being drafted. But also, I know that you put a big emphasis on coming to camp and showing out against the best, right? It's the best on the best. And there's been guys who have earned scholarship offers in that camp. There's been guys that have not been offered because of that camp. And I know that it's something that you like to use as maybe one of your biggest evaluation tools.
It is. And, you got to compete. You got to get your guys to camp. Check this out. Austin Thomas did this study. Out of 22 starters on our championship team, 19 came to camp.
Yeah.
A couple of guys were transfers, graduate transfers that they couldn't. So, it gives us a chance to evaluate them. It gives them a chance to know us. I got some great new coaches. I want them to see these coaches. I want to see the enthusiasm. It's a definite advantage for us.
Coach, I know this might shock you, but I was a guy that might not have been the most impressive in like a T-shirt and shorts. And so I had to go to camps to be able to show, what I could do, like 101 with linebackers and pass routes and all those type of things, because that's where, for me personally, like I had to prove it. I had to prove that I could go best of the best, because you have that opportunity to go out there and compete.
That's right. All these measurements and all these rankings, they're good. All that stuff is good. But you know what? Who's a football player? And that's what we find out in camp. Now, Jacob, I got to tell you, I passed right near you in advance of recruiting. You know that, right?
Oh, yes, sir.
I said, who's that guy? Who's that guy? I soon found out who you were.
Hey, you did come in, though. You did come in and get a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah, I did. A great family. What a great family, man. I wish I'd have got you a promise.
All right, Coach. Hey, we always appreciate the time. It's always so much fun to catch up with you, and go enjoy this recruiting that you're finally being able to do now with this dead period finally being lifted.
Thank you, guys. Your show is great. Go Tigers.
All right, there he is, Coach O, the head coach of the LSU Fighting Tigers. I can't imagine. So obviously we know Coach O loves to recruit. Like there's
Yes.
coaches that do it out of necessity, and then there's coaches that thrive in it. And Coach O is one of those guys. He mentioned it. Like I remember him coming to campus when he was with USC. He got John David Booty, our quarterback, to go from Shreveport all the way out to California. I mean, he is someone that's one of his favorite aspects of it. And not to be able to do that for basically a year, only being able to do it on Zoom. I mean, he signed players, Moose, that he never met before.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. We're talking about the high school kids that can come in now for camps here in June, getting to see the facility. But what about the players from this class who are already committed, already signed, who haven't made it to campus yet because they weren't in early enrollees? They haven't even gotten really to see the facilities yet. So they're going to get to show it off to them for the first time too. Coach O being such just an energy guy. Oh man, that first camp is probably going to be.
I might feel bad.
I mean,
for the ones that
he's going to be so ready.
He is. And this is in something that I'll probably ask him next week when we have him on. This is such an important year for Louisiana.
Yes.
Because this is one of those Louisiana classes that you want to hit the clean sweep, and they've already started off getting the top 3 guys, all 5-star guys, and you're getting them from different parts of Louisiana, different positions, one being a quarterback, one being an offensive lineman, which, as we know, that's one thing this state doesn't produce a lot of is offensive tackles. You go up and you have one committed from Neville, a place where you've lost a couple of recruits to other schools. This class is important. They've done a really nice job so far getting the top 3. Out of the top 10, I would say that they probably want to accept the commitment of 8 of them. And if they can get those top 8, with this being an all-time Louisiana class that we see every so often, right? This year, big for camps in LSU.
Huge, massive, can't be overstated. And it's. But what's been great about their approach in recruiting is they've shown that when it's maybe a little bit of a down year in Louisiana, they have that wide net now as well. Like last class, you had some stud guys in Louisiana, but it wasn't close to. Everybody's pointed to 2022 is the class in Louisiana where they can build up there and they don't have to cast that wide net. What was it until? I mean, man, it was really late in the cycle, and they only had 2 guys from Louisiana signed in the whole class, and they had about 15, 16 commitments. So, I mean, they're sitting pretty over there in the recruiting department at LSU.
Did you see the latest numbers? And I think it was my guy Mark Cumbie that pointed it out on Twitter. Per capita, Louisiana, like per million people, Louisiana has 8 NFL players, and that was double the next closest, the Mississippi, which had 4. So there's always been talent in Louisiana, and when you have a big talent pool like it is this year of elite talent, you have to go hit a home run, and so far LSU has done that. All right, since we do have the Moose here, since Moose is Musso at the box, we do need to do a deep dive into LSU baseball. We mentioned it in headlines, a gigantic series against the Auburn Tigers on the road this week. We'll talk about that with Moose when we come back here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, brought to you by Donaldsonville Glass and Body since 1977, dgbauto.com or donaldsonvilleglassandbody.com. And we tell you all of the time, man, they are going to give you first-class service. I know I've taken full advantage of if your vehicle is at your house or if it's at your place of business and you can't get it to the shop, they will come pick it up and drop it off free of charge. And they got a brand new state-of-the-art tow truck to do so. That is something you're not going to get anywhere else. We know the body shop is the top in the state. T-Bob says it all the time. We will put that on anything, but they also do whatever your vehicle needs. If you need maintenance, if you need repair, if you need a new windshield, no matter what it is, they can handle that problem. And as I always tell you, they're going to be transparent throughout that entire process. So many people just fix it and then they charge you after the fact. That's not what you get over at DGB. You're going to get it per item, exactly what it costs and what they can do for you. DonaldsonvilleGlassandBody.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with the certified pre-owned vehicle.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford is open for business, and we want to earn your business. Stop in and see our selection of the latest Ford cars and trucks, as well as a variety of quality pre-owned vehicles, with prices starting as low as $5,000. Bayou Ford will get you the transparent information you're looking for, and when you're ready to purchase your new vehicle, provide the professional service you deserve. Located off I-10 on Belterre Boulevard in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to LA Contract.
Join us for a Tuesday's edition of Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers, live from Mike Anderson Seafood from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We continue to recap the NFL Draft and why it was a bloodbath for the Vegas bookmakers. We got action. It's Game Time. 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back into OTB. May the 4th edition, so May the 4th be with you.
And with you.
And we had plans, all of us in here. Well, Moose did. Moose wouldn't. But at least me, Mario, and Danny had plans to kind of troll T-Bob and wear some Star Wars gear since he's not here on May the 4th, and this is like the biggest day of the year for him, and we all forgot.
Would you think it really would have been a troll, or do you think he would have kind of been like, boys, I'm proud?
Yeah, we were going to make fun of him.
Okay, well, no, then that makes it a troll, of course. Yeah.
So, but May the 4th be with you if you celebrate that, because we definitely forgot to wear all of our gear. And I say all of our gear, like me going into my son's Halloween costume.
I don't think any of us own any Star Wars stuff, if we're keeping it 100.
Yeah, we don't. We don't. My children, they do. They have some like Darth Vader mask, and they have some other stuff. I was going to put it on, and it was going to look really, really awkward because it's little on my big head, but we forgot. So anyways, May the 4th be with you. All right, let's talk some SEC baseball, some LSU baseball. A real quick recap of what took place over the weekend in the SEC. Florida takes 2 of 3 from Vanderbilt. Arkansas, of course, takes 2 of 3 from LSU. Mississippi State with the sweep of A&M. Tennessee 2 of 3 against Kentucky. Ole Miss with a big sweep of South Carolina coming off a series loss against LSU. Auburn wins its first SEC series of the season, taking 2 of 3 from UGA, and Alabama sweeps Missouri. So we'll kind of start with the Auburn Tigers, and I do want to try to get in some Alabama talk, but Auburn wins its first series, as you mentioned in headlines. They actually beat a team in Georgia that had been pretty hot.
Georgia had found their way into the polls there.
Don't really love to see that. Don't love seeing Auburn kind of get hot right here before they take on LSU at home.
You don't love to see that, but LSU is better than Auburn. And, we haven't really had a lot of opportunity to sit here throughout this baseball season and say LSU is better than that team. LSU is better than Auburn. They just
Kentucky,
are.
Kentucky maybe the time you say it?
No, LSU is better than Kentucky.
Yeah.
And talent has to win out down the stretch here for LSU because Alabama's not as down as they normally are. They are definitely a team on the upswing, but LSU's better than them, and LSU's better than Texas A&M. And talent has to win out in those 3 series, and it has to start on Thursday. Auburn is a team that can hit the ball. Yeah. They've struggled a little bit since SEC play started, but it's really been more of a regression to the mean, not necessarily, a nosedive.
Right.
Their pitching struggles. They do have a couple of frontline starters who have good stuff, but they haven't necessarily pitched up to their capability. So look for the LSU bats to have big weekend. And I think if you look back to last night, you can see guys who are in that lineup and expect to see those same 9 come Thursday. So what I'm talking about is Cade Beloso at DH and Drew Bianco at second base, because those have been the 2 biggest revolving doors right now.
Yeah.
And they both had big hits yesterday, and I think that earns them the weekend.
I know that Drew Bianco strikes out a lot. I do know that. And I realize that you wouldn't put the ball in play and all those things, and Coach Maneri is a guy that moves guys over with hit and runs and bunts and all that type of stuff. But just the threat of the power that he does have in his bat, I feel like run him out there. Your team actually, when you look at the record, and I know he hasn't played in a lot of games, but the record when he's in there, I think they've only lost 2 of the games he started. I would feel comfortable moving forward, allowing him the opportunity to go out there and play second base every day. Now, Zach Arnold, he started out really hot. He cooled off, and his defense is an issue as well. So do you think moving forward, because of the pop in Drew Bianco's bat, and I know, swing and miss stuff is there, but do you think they'll allow him to be the second baseman for this entire series?
Yes, I do for this series, but it's going to go back to the same. It's going to depend on how he does. I mean, it's what Paul's done so much this year with second base is whoever's gotten it in the midweek has gotten it on the weekend. Cranford's had that luxury. Arnold's had that luxury. Drew Bianco's now had that luxury twice, and that's really how they've been approaching it. So it will depend on his weekend performance at Auburn.
Inside the Bayou 4 chat from Where's Nookie, we're using hits against Southern as a basis for being in the weekend lineup. It's not what he did against Southern. It's more what he was able to do against Arkansas. He was able to do some things, right? You get
got a hit in both those games.
He did, and we know that the power is there. And this is more so of what you're not getting as well from the other guys at second base. So no, we're not taking a home run from against Southern as what you should use for the SEC play, but from what you're getting from the other guys and what he has the capability of doing. He had a pretty nice series against Ole Miss, not on the base pass, but in the batter's box. I think he deserves to get some run there, so we'll see if that does, in fact, play itself out. All right, when we come back, Jake Crane of the J-Boy Show joins us to talk SEC football here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, brought to you by Rejuvame, RejuvameMedical.com, the age-defying clinic. And we tell you all the time, look, go check them out and get your labs tested. We always talk about your T levels and your hormone therapy replacement, right? Go check it out. It's a 3-step process to be able to get you back to feeling like your youthful self. Everyone in here, everyone in this room is going to have different labs. They're going to have different things that pop up. That's why it's very important that you go and get tested. It's not just because you missed your morning cup of coffee and that's why you feel that way. No, we're all kind of getting to an age when we start to feel a little down. We're not like our youthful self. We need a spike. We need some of that energy. Well, they can get you back to feeling like your youthful self because everybody ages differently, right? So my labs aren't going to be the same as Moose's, the same as Danny's, the same as Mario's. So that's why you go take advantage of that 3-step process to figure it out for you. Again, RejuvameMedical.com.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
Do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyer.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. on Tuesday, May 4th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see thunderstorms with a high of 86. In case you missed hour one of the show, you can catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. Still to come, Jake Crane of the J-Boy Show calls in, and Nick Underhill talks Saints at 9:30, presented by former Tiger and attorney Chris Perrette. Remember, we have our OTB mailbag today, so get your questions in. Tweet them or ask them in the YouTube chat using the hashtag OTB mailbag, and we'll get them answered at 8:15. You can follow today's show on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN or by subscribing to our YouTube for new content every day. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I gotta come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
All right, welcome in hour number 2 of OTB. No T-Bob Hebert, but it's okay. We got the Moose, Matthew Musso, Mario, Danny, the whole crew is here. Excited to talk to our next guest, Jake Crane of the J-Boy Show. It is a podcast that if you have not already listened to and subscribed, you should definitely do so right now. Jake, what is going on, my man?
Hey, Hester, what's up, brother? Appreciate you guys having me on. T-Bob's not there, but I know he's there in spirit, and I just really appreciate it.
I don't know where his spirit is because he's in Cabo for the week.
Oh, good. No one knows where his spirit is, then.
And it's May the 4th, and he is the biggest Star Wars fan that I know. So there is a large chance that he is on the beach in Cabo in a full Chewbacca costume right now.
Listen, nothing would shock me. For him, I wouldn't be surprised if he was trying to lead the rebellion in Cabo or something right now.
All right, so I've got to start out with this interesting note. And look, Jake covers the SEC as good as anyone does. Again, J-Boy Show is something you need to be listening to. But there was an interesting note from last weekend. Ben Baby did a story on Jordan Palmer, who trains quarterbacks now, Carson Palmer's brother. And he said that Auburn quarterback Bo Nix will be the #1 overall pick in the 2022 draft. You were literally the first person I thought about when I read that.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, the way Bo Nix has been playing. But, look, you never know in the game of football. We've all seen crazy stuff happen. But, to win the Heisman, you got to have more than yourself, as kind of contrarian as that sounds. Auburn's offensive line right now, they're kind of devoid of tackles. You got to be able to protect the quarterback. And the wide receiver room, they've got some talented young guys, but they really don't have a veteran kind of elite guy that can turn that 50-50 ball into a 70-30 ball. I think they got to go to the portal to get that. And if you don't have that as a quarterback, I don't care if you're Michael Vick or the second coming, you're not going to win the Heisman.
All right, so as we all know, 65 guys drafted from the SEC, and we could go down the list. You had Alabama 10, Georgia 9, Florida 8, LSU 7. We can go all the way down to Vanderbilt and Arkansas, who only had 1 drafted. But after you see the list of guys that got selected, what they have coming back, which team do you actually think lost the most that's going to have a hard time replacing what they lost in the NFL draft?
Yeah, you can't say Alabama anymore just because they reload. I look at Florida when all they lost. I mean, you lose Kyle Pitts first round. You lose Kadarius Toney that went high. Kyle Trask ended up going higher than I thought to the Bucks. Grimes is crazy. I didn't think Grimes got drafted. He was kind of an unheralded guy. I think it's Florida. I actually think Florida takes a step back this year. I'm not 100% sold on Emory Jones. And listen, I like Dan Mullen. I think Dan Mullen's one of the best play callers in the country. If it was a life or death situation and I had to pick somebody to call a play on 4th and 3, it's probably Dan Mullen, and he's going to run a pick to the running back and get 3.5. So I do think it's Florida. I'm interested to see how the East plays out. You look at Georgia, even though you lose 9, they've recruited so well. We all know how Kirby's done. But Florida, to me, really stands out. Texas A&M, they lost a decent amount. You lose Kellen Mond, who I'm not as high on it as an NFL player as some other people are, but I got to put Florida on top of that list.
Jake, when you look at new coaches coming into the SEC, we have 4 of them this year: Josh Heupel, Shane Beamer, Clark Lee, Brian Harsin. Which one do you think is best set up for early success at their school?
It's hard not to say Brian Harsin in Auburn just because of what is, and I know I brought up some problems that they have on the roster, but most people have problems on the roster outside of Alabama, really, because Nick Saban is the best in the world at roster management, and they never tend to lose too much at one spot consistently. But you look at, I kind of look at other schools. Tennessee with Josh Heupel, I think that's a stopgap hire with the NCAA stuff looming over Tennessee. I think they're going to be fighting with a hand tied behind their back for a couple years. Vandy, it's a good place to go. No disrespect to Vandy, but I just don't see how you're going to be able to accumulate talent there and living today in the SEC. And then Shane Beamer at South Carolina, inherited a roster. We always talk about how depleted Ole Miss's roster was on defense, how depleted Arkansas's roster was on defense. But, outside of Kevin Harris and Shi Smith, there was nobody on that South Carolina roster that really could do anything. You look at J.C. Horn at corner, obviously, but offensively, they were very limited. I think that affected the way Mike Bobo called plays. When I look at Brian Harsin in Auburn, he's walking into a place that does return a quarterback. See, they return. The thing is, Auburn actually returns a lot, believe it or not. But a lot of the guys they returned didn't play well last year. And I always say, just because you return doesn't mean you played well or you're a good player. They have to have some guys take the next step. But just by default, the roster structure and where it sits right now, Brian Harsin, in my opinion, has the best chance to have success early.
All right, Jake, one of the best things about you is you're going to be honest. So even though we're here in Baton Rouge, I'm going to ask you about LSU. 7 guys drafted, but you only lose 33 games because 3 of those 7 players were opt-outs. You had injuries to some of the other guys. So, yes, you lose 7 guys, but you didn't play with the bulk of those guys a year ago. You are able to take advantage of the rule on the offense and defensive line as far as getting guys that extra year of eligibility. And as we know, yes, this league has gone to the spread, but it is still a big upfront league. So after the draft, how are you viewing LSU? I know that you're interested in that quarterback competition as well.
Yeah, well, look, I'm a firm believer in LSU does a whole heck of a lot better as the outsider. Last year, and listen, I know they struggled, and you're coming off a national championship, but they were gutted before the season. I talked about it multiple times. I mean, from, guys they lost to the draft, and their top guys, obviously, with Joe Burrow and all them, and then Jamar Chase opts out. You have a couple guys transfer. And I think this whole offseason, all LSU has heard was how bad they were last year. And I think Edo's one of the best at using that as motivation. And there's nothing that makes a 17 to 22-year-old male more upset than being embarrassed in front of his friends and fans at what he thinks he's the best at. I think LSU is going to use that during the offseason. And look, we know they've acquired talent. Ed Orgeron, I thought he was very transparent, maybe a little too transparent in the hires he made last year and how he was trying to correct that. But I love the hiring of Jake Peets. I really think that – and listen, I don't like the term Joe Brady's offense because it's this dude's offense. I mean, there's going to be some similarities there formationally and motionally, but Joe Brady's not calling the plays. This guy doesn't have Joe Burrow. Not that Miles Brennan and Max Johnson and T.J. Finley and even Nussmeier, who I think is going to be a stud down the road, can't get it done. But, I mean, this is this man's offense. And when I look at LSU with what they return defensively, they can't get much worse. It's funny, I actually had Mike Leach on today, released that one, and I asked him, what was his thoughts when LSU would not get out of man last year? And he couldn't believe it, guys. He could not believe it because all Bo Pelini was known for was that soft cover 2 zone. And the last time they played him, that's all he saw when he coached against Pelini in Nebraska, and LSU would not get out of man. It's just shocking. I don't think you're going to have those problems this year. I'm releasing my SEC predictions post-spring, and I think LSU fans might be happy where I have them in the West.
I'm glad you mentioned Mike Leach because that's where I was going to go next, was to the 2 Mississippi schools. And I want to know if you feel like they're ready to make a bit of a jump up from last year. Not necessarily, they're going to go out and win 9-10 games, not that kind of jump, but are they ready to maybe keep building a little bit with their second-year head coaches?
Ole Miss, yes. I actually think Mississippi State's going to fall back a little bit. I got them finishing near the bottom in the West. I think still with everything Mississippi State lost, because, we talk about attrition and there's been a couple D linemen leave Auburn. I mean, it was like Moses leading people, past the Red Sea out of Starkville when Mike Leach got there. I mean, they lost so much with all the stuff that was going on. They still haven't had a chance to replace it. I think there's still at least a year, especially up front. I actually like Will Rodgers. I think he's got some moxie in the pocket back there. I just don't think they can protect him. I watched him in the spring. They're devoid of playmakers, in my opinion. But I look at Ole Miss, and obviously Ole Miss's biggest problem last year was defensively. They were as depleted as anybody in the country. If you watch their spring game, about 4 or 5 starters from last year were on that second group. So they've added some talent through the JUCO ranks. Lane is an absolute witch when it comes to his mind offensively. Do they have enough on defense? And will Lane go the speed limit a little bit more this year to rest that defense and maybe keep them in some of these games? Because the craziest stat I heard last year, guys, was when Ole Miss played Alabama, if Ole Miss would not have put a defense out there every time Alabama was offense, if they'd have just let Alabama go on air, Alabama would have only gained 20 more yards than they actually did. So until that problem's fixed, you can score all the points in the world, but if you can't stop anybody, it doesn't matter. But Lane Kiffin, man, I think he's got some pieces on defense, and I'm really interested to see how they finish up this year.
Jake, that is a great point that you bring up about tempo and trying to play defense behind it, because I remember being on the sidelines for the LSU-Vanderbilt game, and LSU's offense in 2018 took strides to be a tempo team from 17, but it still wasn't what it was in 19. And in 19, they were going as fast-paced as you could, and I'll never forget the defense coming off the field. LSU went on to the field on offense, scored in 2 plays. I'm sure it was Jamar Chase. They score in 2 plays, and I look up, and Dave Aranda's got the whiteboard out, and he's about to put the marker on the whiteboard. He did not have time to take the cap off, put the marker on the whiteboard, and they were like, defense up. And I can't repeat what the defensive lineman said right there, but it was not a very good word, and they didn't even have time to make those adjustments. And so you do have to find a way to complement each other. Some of the series, hey, run the ball on first down. Run the ball for the first 2 downs. Something to be able to help your defense out, because if you've never been in that situation, or if you're playing an offense that's scoring the same kind of clip and your defense is always out there, look, you're a former college football coach. You know that. You've got to find exactly the right recipe for success there.
Yeah, you've got to. I mean, it's funny. I always think about it, and I know you too, Hesty, is that I think about it from a practice structure standpoint. Like, if I'm the DC at Tennessee with Josh Heupel and you're going light speed all the time, how do we ever have a team period where I get anything out of it? I mean, you almost have to card up the team period because you're not going to get the power with Josh Heupel. They're just going to go warp speed, throw bubble screen, throw slants, give you a few different combinations. And it's almost like being on a team that runs the triple option because you're never going to see it really during the season outside of a couple games. So I think about it all the way back. No, Hester, I can only imagine the words that were uttered from the defensive linemen, especially the interior defensive line, the 3-tech and the shade and the bigger boys up front. Because, listen, it's great to score, and as the defensive guy, you want your offense to score every time. But, man, it's tough when you're just running in and out of there, and especially if you don't have depth on that defensive line, it can get a little frustrating even when good things are happening. That sound.
One more from me, Jake. In your opinion, is JT Daniels the best returning quarterback in the SEC for the 2021 season?
Look, I think he's the best quarterback on the best team around him. I like Matt Corral. I think if you put Matt Corral at Georgia, you'd end up having an even better offense, especially with what Monken can do. You look around, you look at Georgia, and physically they just look different. I mean, for Georgia physically looks to me like the best team in college football. And Alabama looks great, but I look at that roster, I look at the physicality, I look at the size, and that's without, Pickens, who went down. Thank goodness Burton only hyperextended his knee. But, I mean, you look at Darnell Washington at tight end at 6'7", like 280. Reminds me of Leonard Pope. The cats they got running around at receiver out there, they got a stable full of backs. Matt Luke's an unbelievable offensive line coach, and don't even get me started on their defensive line. It's like watching the new Space Jam movie. It's going to be interesting to see what they do to Clemson's offensive line week 1. But, I do like what JT does because, in my opinion, what JT Daniels gives you is a guy that can make all the throws. He can throw sail to the field. He can throw the vertical. He can throw your quick game, your short game, your screen game. He has the changeup, but he operates in the pocket with poise, and he understands what he's seeing. And what I think this is going to do, JT Daniels is finally going to be the quarterback that Kirby Smart says, listen, it's not really taking a chance by throwing it around and doing some things like that, especially early down, if I trust the guy as much as JT Daniels, because this is a guy that studies as much as anybody. He speaks the language. He understands what's in front of him, and I think he's going to be the difference in Georgia taking that next step. So, yes, to answer your question, I think he's the best quarterback with the best players around him. If I just went at the position, I would probably put Matt Corral ahead of him.
All right, last one for me as well. And look, we've gone really long with you, Jake, so I do appreciate your time as always.
Anytime for you guys, man. OTB. I'm down with OTB. You know that. You know me.
See, and now you've given us an idea for a rejoin. All right, so since we talked Georgia, and obviously over the last couple of years it's been Georgia in the East, Texas A&M in the West as far as the hype train. And Georgia's gotten to that championship game. They look like the team to beat in the East without question because of what Florida loses. A&M last year wins the New Year's Six game. So do you think this is actually the year that Georgia wins their first title since 1980, or that A&M makes a college football playoff? Which one do you think is more likely to happen?
And I'm not one. I want to preface this with saying I have not been one of the people that the past, since Kirby's got there every year, but like, Georgia's going to win it this year. This is their year, like a lot of people. But I actually believe this is their best chance. Alabama lost a lot. We rebuilt, they reload. They got some young guys that got to get their feet wet up front. And I think Georgia, and I think they're going to run through the East like it's not even there. I think that the biggest question out of the East isn't that Georgia wins, is does Florida finish second in the East, or does Kentucky or Missouri usurp them at that 2 spot? But yeah, I do believe Georgia, if JT Daniels can stay healthy, I think this is the year where Georgia has a chance to finish the deal. As long as Kirby just doesn't run cover 2 on like 4th and 26, I think they're going to be fine.
All right, he is Jake Crane of the J-Boy Show. Before you get out, Jake, tell them exactly where they can find you.
Definitely, man. I appreciate you guys having me on. You can find us on a brand new YouTube channel. It's the J-Boy Show, THE space, JBOY space, SHOW. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, always putting stuff out. I actually just dropped a show with Kramer Robertson,
There you go.
Former LSU shortstop, talking about his mom, Kim Mulkey, as well. Some great stories there. We're covering the whole SEC. You can find us, and no politics, just sports. I coach for a little bit. Hester can tell you, so we get into the weeds team-wise and just tell the truth like you guys do. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely. There he is, Jake Crane. You can follow him on Twitter at the J-Boy Show. Jake, we appreciate it. See you soon, brother.
Hey, anytime, man. I got to get you back on soon.
Yeah, you know it. Anytime you need me.
All right, buddy. See ya.
Again, Jake, coach college football. His dad's a longtime college football coach. Does a great job. I mean, he gets the guest, too. I mean, he's like, yeah, we had Mike Leach on
Mike Leach,
yesterday. It's
name
like,
dropping.
No big deal. I'd like to ask Mike Leach what he thought when Bo Pelini played man as well. I'd like to get the unfiltered answer, though. Not that
the off the record answer.
Not that he's like ever like the guy who filters anything.
That's
like
true.
He typically says
That's
it.
true.
But like the off the record, not T-Bob off the record, but
Right.
actually off the record answer to Mike Leach. All right. Like I said, we went long with J-Boy. I knew we would. Always has a lot of great insight. We still got a lot to come, though. We've got Nick Underhill of NewOrleans.football at 8:45. We've got Zach Von Rosenberg at 9:15. Justin Vincent's going to come replace Musso at 9 o'clock. So a lot still to come here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, excited about our new sponsor here, the relaxation company at Pelican Point, and they have got some amazing Mother's Day specials going on. 20% off gift cards right now, a $100 pre-made gift box, which includes a 60-minute massage gift card, a robe, one soap, a bath bomb as well. That's a $125 value for only $100. That offer is actually valid until May the 8th. Free shipping is available upon request on that special as well. And like we told you about yesterday with the relaxation company, they are going to be the best customer service in the massage game. This is a locally owned, family-owned business. And trust me, like as soon as you walk through the door, you realize that with the greeting and the customer service that you get. You can find them online at therelaxationcompany.org for a full list of services. You can actually book your online appointment right there on the website, and also give them a call, 225-725-4239.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Yo, Jacob Hester here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, the place that can be at your convenience during those inconvenient times. I know they've been that for me. I've got 4 boys, right? So sometimes stitches happen, and they have 6 convenient locations, one close to you to be able to be convenient for you. Remember, you can also check in online. PatientPlusUC.com is the website. That way you skip the line as well. Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, get in and get better.
Have you been issued a ticket for texting, speeding, or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
Sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans. That's why we're highlighting the fans that do the most. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out at 1045ESPN.com, the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At front to back, they got not 1, but 2 NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to front to back boat service.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help. and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. What undrafted free agents have the best chance to make the Saints roster? We're talking about it and recapping the Warriors Pels. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back into OTB. The Moose, Matthew Musso, sitting in for T-Bob. A lot of people catching up inside the Bayou 4 chat, asking where T-Bob is at. Again, he is in Cabo. He will be back next week. It's the month of May. Vacations typically happen in the month of May. There's a good chance you won't see your boy here at the last week of May, so it's all good. Are you allowed to take vacations on AFR? Is that allowed? Is that something?
I don't know if it's allowed, but I'm doing it. So
Okay.
yeah.
You already told Matt?
No.
Okay. Just don't tell him and then don't show up.
Well, I'm not gonna. I mean that come on,
Okay.
man. That'd be messed up.
All right, it is Tuesday, so it is time for OTB Mailbag.
Special delivery! I have this special delivery for off the bench. And look, it is marked most urgent.
We'll be writing to you.
The internet. What the is the internet?
All right, time for a little OTB mailbag. First one, a little dark, but you died. Hashtag OTB mailbag, you died, and it turned out your whole life was part of an immersive game. Would you play the game again?
Yes.
So yeah, sure. I mean, respawn. Press
Yeah,
A to respawn type thing.
I gotta respawn. I mean,
yeah.
Otherwise I'm dead.
Day after tomorrow, Edge of Tomorrow.
Like such a good movie.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if you
such a good movie. It had two different names: Live, Die, Repeat, and Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Speaking of good movies, don't know if we have any Spaceballs people in here, but
yes.
Since today is May the 4th, who is your favorite Spaceballs character?
I mean, you had Jabba the Hutt in Star Wars. You had Pizza the Hutt in Spaceballs. Pretty hard to beat. Although John Candy's character was fantastic, I'm gonna go with Pizza the Hutt.
Pizza the Hutt. I'll second that.
Dark Helmet for sure. Dark Helmet was hilarious.
Rick Moranis, I mean, it was a star. It just went away.
Yeah, he shrunk the kids.
He did.
Yep.
Multiple times.
Well,
and then he blew them up
yeah.
one time, I think.
He did.
Then he coached the Giants against the Cowboys.
He did coach.
All right, lot of stuff for Rick Moranis.
Hashtag OTB mailbag. Breakfast for dinner or dinner for breakfast?
Oh no, breakfast for dinner.
Breakfast
man.
for dinner.
All day. That's easy.
Like, I love coming in and for dinner, you got eggs, bacon, biscuits, orange juice. Sign me up.
That's
I'm
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Breakfast for dinner.
Yeah.
I think I had the contrarian take here because I like eating.
How?
I like eating leftovers. Like if I'll get like an appetizer at a restaurant, and we'll have some cheese fries left over. I don't mind waking up to some cheese fries the next day.
But fries are hard. Fries are
In the
tough,
morning?
Like,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, fries are
aggressive,
tough to
Mario.
reheat,
That's
man.
aggressive.
Does it come with a cowboy killer on the side?
Yeah.
Just light it up?
Hey, contrarian take. First one.
Hair of the dog.
All right.
Hair of the dog.
Hashtag OTB mailbag. A genre of music that you cannot stand.
I feel like this is going to probably upset somebody, like no matter what we say here.
Yeah, probably. I'm not a big pop person. Like today's pop. Doesn't do it for me. Don't care.
Danny, I feel like you're going to have a good answer to this one.
I've never been a big country fan. I know like a
that.
lot of listeners probably listen
Well.
to country, but I've never been a country.
Oh, good. It's all good.
I like old school rap a lot, but a lot of these new rap songs seem kind of repetitive. So the new brand of hip hop really not my thing.
Yeah, I've never understood like the screamo metal, like Slipknot.
Okay.
Like that's like if that's you, that's great. It gets you fired up or whatever. I've never understood it because maybe it's because my favorite genre is blues, which is like the complete opposite, like slowed down. It's all about the instruments and things like that. But never understood the screamo music. So
yeah,
Not in the weight room.
not even the weight room. Like I'd much rather have like rap in the weight room than I would anything else. Like I can like an old school like heavy metal's fine. I'm talking about like the one where they're like really screaming at you. Yeah.
This is a quick one for Hester. Hashtag OTB mailbag. Who had the better college tape, Garrett Grayson or In Book?
I forget. Ian Book. They didn't like my redneck In Book. Like just quick. In Book. Ian Book. Ian Book had the better college tape, without question. I said it yesterday. When he came into the bowl game against LSU, the entire offense changed. He gives you a dynamic there. And not to say it's going to play out in the NFL and he's going to be a star, but he does have a dynamic. He can make plays by himself. When plays break down, he's a very athletic quarterback that can make all the moves. I don't hate the pick like a lot of people did. In fact, Mel Kiper said Jamie Newman would have been the selection for him. Jamie Newman didn't get selected. So I don't agree with that take. And if Sean Payton has showed you anything, he will play to the quarterback's strengths and not just, hey, this is my offense, you got to fit in this. Like, because if that was the case with the intermediate passes and being accurate, Kyle Trask would have been the pick. But he sees Ian Book be able to go out there and do special stuff with his legs.
Ian Book headed to the Saints just like Garrett Grayson did. Hashtag OTB mailbag. You get the opportunity to dine at any fictional restaurant. For example, the Krusty Krab, Bob's Burgers, etc. Which restaurant do you choose to dine in and why? I'm definitely saying the Krusty Krab. That sandwich makes people go crazy. I want to see what all the buzz is about.
I'm going to say the Max from Saved by the Bell.
Oh, that's a good one, too. You know,
I love diner food. Kelly Kapowski's there, so that's a plus. There's a jukebox there. Sign me up. You know, like I'm an old head. I like that.
Cheers would be pretty cool.
Ooh, good call.
Cheers would be pretty cool, man.
And they say you're
moose
when you're it's so good.
Norm, just gonna sit over there, have a beer with Norm. Cheers might be my answer there.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Couple more here before we get.
I'm going Paunch Burger from Parks and Rec. I don't know if y'all.
Yeah.
Burger.
That's a good one. That seems like it would be good. A couple more here before we get to Nick. Hashtag OTB mailbag. If you could have a lightsaber, what colors would yours be on May the 4th?
I'm going green. I think green's a cool color.
I'm going blue. I think blue's my color. Big fan of blue.
Give me purple.
I agree with Musa. I'm going to mix it up and go purple. Go Tigers.
Well, you're not mixing it up if he's got purple.
Okay, well, I was going to mix it up before Musa's answer.
Go gold.
Club Purple. Last one. Hashtag OTB mailbag. OTB mailbag. Is Flo or Jamie from the Progressive commercials more annoying?
Jamie.
Jamie's got a very punchable face.
Extremely punchable.
I mean, it just screams punch me.
It does.
I think he was brought in to like make Flo not like seem like less annoying. I feel like that's why they brought him in.
Yeah, I don't know. They're both pretty annoying. And anytime somebody's been on TV for as long as they have, it gets annoying, and you're like, okay, I'm over it now.
It's run its course. Let's move on with it now. I hear you.
Jamie's a guy that just tries way too hard. You can see. We all know guys like that. And that is hashtag OTB mailbag.
All right. Again, we still got a lot coming up. We've got Nick Underhill to break down the Saints draft at 8:45. We got Zach Von Rosenberg at 9:15. JV, Justin Vincent's going to come sit in for the full hour starting at 9 o'clock. So all that coming back here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com is your one-stop shop for whatever you need. New or pre-owned vehicle. We know that they have that. You can also rent a Toyota. That's something we tell you about all the time. And I have heard testimonials of people that have done this, right? You got the baseball squad. You've got that tournament that's 6 hours away, and you all can't fit in your car. Well, you can go get a Sequoia. You can go get any of the midsize SUVs, the 4Runner, the Highlander, whatever you might need for that trip. If you're going to the beach, if you're going to Disney, whatever it is and whatever vehicle you need, keep the miles off your car. If you want to go get a sedan, right? You've got a big full-size SUV, but it's only you and the missus, well, you can go get that sedan as well for that trip. So you don't put miles in your car, you save on gas money, all those type of things, and it is a per-day rate. So go check it out online, allstartoyotabatonrouge.com. It's right there on the homepage. Click on Rent a Toyota. It will give you all the pricing right there. They do it all over at All-Star. allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford is open for business, and we want to earn your business. Stop in and see our selection of the latest Ford cars and trucks, as well as a variety of quality pre-owned vehicles, with prices starting as low as $5,000. Bayou Ford will get you the transparent information you're looking for, and when you're ready to purchase your new vehicle, provide the professional service you deserve. Located off I-10 on Belterre Boulevard in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop.
Join us for a Tuesday's edition of Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers, live from Mike Anderson Seafood from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We continue to recap the NFL Draft and why it was a bloodbath for the Vegas bookmakers. We got action. It's Game Time. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
All right, welcome back into OTB. Going to have Nick Underhill join us in about 10 minutes, so this will be a quick segment here. Obviously, Nick going to break down the New Orleans Saints draft, so we won't spend too much time on this segment, but do want to get Moose's thoughts on the Saints draft, since we do have Nick coming up next and hadn't been able to hear from Moose himself talking about the Saints draft selection. So we've talked about them somewhat throughout the day, having different questions in the OTB mailbag about some of the draft choices. But how did you feel the Saints did? Because a lot of bad grades coming in so far.
Yeah, well, I, like everybody else, when Peyton Turner's name was announced in the first round, did not know who he was. And then I went and looked him up. I now know who he is. I really like the Adebo pick. I think that might be my favorite one. He did opt out, so
I think that's why he was available at where he was.
Right. So that's could very well end up being the definition of value late in the draft at a position of need for the New Orleans Saints. What gets me a little bit there is because he opted out and hasn't played football for a whole year, him adjusting to the speed of the NFL and coming from the Pac-12 where, they're not necessarily really known for so much speed.
Anything.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think he fits. And he's an outside guy who can play opposite of Marshawn Lattimore, and I really like that pick. And I really like the pick of Landon Young, the tackle out of Kentucky, because he was an absolute stud on a very good offensive line up in Lexington, and that could easily be some value for the Saints there. And he has some experience playing inside, so if they can move him to the interior, they have Armstead and Ramchick. So I like those two picks, and Pete Werner's a nice pick too. That's a guy who can come in and play day one with Demario Davis there. So overall, I think the draft has potential, but I understand the tough grades that it is receiving from some.
I think the grades are coming in because of where these guys were selected, not the players themselves, but where they were selected. A lot of people out there thought they could have gotten everyone they selected outside of Adebo. I think he was about as far as you were going to get. That's why you have to trade up to get him, but they could have been slotted a little bit farther back. But you go out and you get the players that you wanted, and time will tell as far as how this draft class plays out. I agree with you about the picks. Adebo is someone I think can be a starter, even though he was a third-round pick. I realize you typically don't get starting corners. You get a third or fourth corner in that range, but he does have those skills. I think opting out hurt him, and so he can be a guy that you count on in the secondary there. I love the Landon Young pick, just like for the reasons that you did. He's a guy that can play tackle. He can play guard. He played a long time in the SEC, was on one of the better offensive lines that nobody knew about because it was Kentucky. He gives you depth. Because, look, we know there's going to be a time when Pete misses some games.
That's going to happen.
Like, that is for sure, as for sure can be. He can step in. I think he can play guard. I think he can make that move because he's big enough to do so. Obviously, he's athletic enough to play tackle, but an injury set him back. That's why he lasted until the 6th round. So I'm excited about what he can do there for the Saints. What do you feel about the Ian Book pick?
I think there's two ways they could go about it, right? So either he comes in and is able to be the first backup to Jameis, and then they can use Taysom in the way that they love to use Taysom, or Ian Book ends up becoming Taysom and takes on more of that role just because of the athletic ability that he can give the Saints. And who knows, maybe it's good enough that if Taysom ever moves on, Ian Book slides into that role full time and then gets a few starts at quarterback down the road like Taysom Hill did. So I think there's a lot of different ways they can go with that pick. It did surprise me a little, but when you look at it a little deeper in his athletic ability, it makes sense because it's what Sean Payton's been looking for at that position.
Look, drafted Tommy Stevens last year, and Tommy Stevens, played tight end sort of during his time with the Saints, but there was always that thought that he could be in a Taysom-type role. Obviously, this is something that Sean Payton values, and who knows what the future of Taysom holds, but you can tell this is a skill set that he likes to go after, and he gets a guy in Ian Book who made a lot of plays at a big-time university, obviously had a fantastic junior year, was really, really good. Took a slight, small step back as far as production this year, although his completion percentage did go up by, I believe, 4 points this year. All right, we're going to break it down more in depth with Nick Underhill, New Orleans Football, when we come back here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
All right, brought to you by AccuTemp. You can find them online at accutempbr.com. Service to the highest degree, and that comes with your cooling, your heating, your indoor air quality, right? They ran that special last month, but don't forget about indoor air quality, your air ducts, your air scrubbers, all the things that they're able to do over at AccuTemp, and also your electrical work, right? If you've got maybe a ceiling fan and you don't have the ability to install it, well, they can come and they can do it for you. They can repair all of your lighting. So If you have an electrical issue, that's also something that AccuTemp can handle. Of course, all your heating and cooling needs. I know for me, I'm part of the program, and the program was fantastic for me because they're saving me money every month. A small $100 fix is something they call it. They showed me the numbers, transparent about it. They replaced the part, and now my energy bill is going to be lower because of it. AccuTempBR.com, 225-535-8307.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with a certified pre-owned vehicle.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service, HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At front to back, they got not one, but two NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to front to back boat service.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge.
Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers, live from Mike Anderson Seafood from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We continue to recap the NFL Draft and why it was a bloodbath for the Vegas bookmakers. We got action. It's Game Time. 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger. Weekly New Orleans Saints updates with Nick Underhill on OTB are brought to you by former LSU Tiger and attorney Chris Perrette.
All right, welcome back into OTB. You heard it there. Excited to catch up with our guy, Nick Underhill, who covers the Saints as well as anyone at New Orleans Football. And the draft is now complete. Excited to talk with Nick. Nick, how you doing this morning?
Hey, doing well. How you guys doing?
Doing well. Like I said, man, excited to talk this draft class with you. So I'll just open it up. Give us your thoughts on this Saints draft class and how you felt it went.
Well, I mean, I definitely thought some of it was surprising. I think a lot of the players we were looking at didn't really end up on the team. And, I think for the first round, the big thing was cornerback. And obviously they were operating as if they had to get a cornerback. They tried really hard to get up into the top 10 to get J.C. Horn, and then that didn't happen. And then just kind of the way the draft felt, I feel like I would have felt better about it if the first 3 picks were made in reverse: cornerback, linebacker, then defensive end. I do think that Peyton Turner is probably better than the reaction on Twitter would lead you to believe. I don't think he's as raw as Marcus Davenport. I've seen Marcus Davenport comparisons. I think there's some similarities in how they're built and how they rush the passer, but I don't think Turner's nearly as raw as Davenport was coming into the league. I mean, just starting on something very basic and obvious, if you put on tape of both these guys in college, you're going to find snaps with Turner having his hand in the dirt, and Davenport won't. And even at this point in Davenport's career, he still struggles with that. So, I mean, I think he's a little bit more polished. There's things with this pass rush plan that could improve it, and, figuring out how to stack moves and counters and things like that. But I think he's starting from a higher point. And, the thing that pops off for me is he's so incredibly strong. And when he can get his hands on somebody, they just kind of, they can die against him, just the way he plays. So, I think it would be really hard for him to not contribute. And I think that he can get, better. There's definitely room for growth. I haven't had a chance to watch Pete Werner yet, but I do think that, what I have seen, he just seems like a very solid player that's going to, usually be in the right spot. I don't think he's going to do anything to kill your defense. And, I think he just kind of plays like really well. He's like AJ Klein, but maybe a little bit more athletic. And, I like the way AJ Klein played. I thought he was a solid player, but, he just lacked a little athleticism. Pete isn't, going to make anyone think he's Jabril Cox, but he does have a little bit of speed, a little bit of range. And, I think he'll probably be a starter right away. And then 3rd round pick, Paulson Adebo, I think he has a lot of upside. I think he does a lot of things really well. And then there's some things that kind of make you nervous. I saw him get beat twice on the same double move against UCF. He did get an interception against Arizona in 2019 on the same route, like a little stop and go. But, I mean, there's just some things where I think if you can slow him down with the double move and then speed up, he can be a little bit susceptible. But, they're going to hope that he can come in and compete for a job right away. I would feel better about the team if they went out and they got a veteran cornerback, a Casey Hayward, a Richard Sherman, anybody, just to kind of be a stopgap, just in case he isn't ready. And then you have a layer of protection against Marshawn Lattimore. Next one, Ian Book. That's not the quarterback I would have picked off a list and said, hey, this is the guy you go and develop. But, I'm not so much concerned with the player because I don't think they're expecting him to play, not right away. And it's just more for me, if Peyton sees somebody that he thinks he can develop, I think he kind of owes it to the team and to the roster to go out and get that player and see what he can do. I mean, if you really look at it quietly, since 2015, they've been one of these teams that have been in search for a quarterback, and it's left them empty-handed. Garrett Grayson didn't work out. Teddy Bridgewater, we see what he is. He's not really an NFL starter. Tried to get Mahomes, missed on Mahomes. Got Jameis Winston, we'll see on there. Tried it with Taysom Hill. Didn't really work with Taysom Hill to the effect that they wanted it to. So, I mean, in a weird way, they're kind of like the Denver Broncos, being one of these teams that's out here looking every year, looking under every rock and around every corner for a quarterback, and they don't find one. So if you have a chance and you think you like this guy and you think he has a shot, give it a shot. I mean, I think most 4th-round quarterbacks probably aren't going to make it in the NFL, but we'll see what they can do with him. And then I feel like they got solid depth, going down to the rest of the draft.
And I like one of those pieces at the end, and Landon Young and Musso and I just talked about. This is a guy I watched a lot at Kentucky. I know he had an injury. I believe he can play tackle or guard in the NFL. I think that this is someone who potentially could step up and play big-time snaps if you need him to, if Pete does go down like he has the last couple of years. I actually really like that pick if Landon Young is, in fact, healthy and back from that injury that he had.
So I yada your guy. That's unfortunate. I like him too. I think he has that versatility. I think it was a good move for them. And they lost some of their depth on the offensive line, and I thought it was pretty important for them to go in there and get somebody, especially somebody they can develop. And if he has upside that they really like, I mean, both your tackles are in situations where, one needs a contract. Well, both of them need a contract, and one of them's getting older. So if you have to start developing somebody, I think it's really smart to get someone in now. And look, I mean, this doesn't mean anything, but I just even like the guy's demeanor, just like his thought process on playing both positions. He's been training to do both, even though he didn't do a lot of it in college. And, he kind of knew that was going to be important for him coming into the league. And just to have that kind of initiative in that, self-startership, I think is important, especially with the way the league's going and the off-season program's getting shorter. Like, this guy's going to be doing what he's supposed to be doing to be ready for camp. And I think that he'll be really good depth. And as you mentioned, if Pete goes down or, Armstead goes down, at some point he's probably going to have to play, and it's smart for them to address that in the draft.
Nick, with Ian Book, going back to him for 1 second, do you see him more as the primary backup to where Taysom can then do his thing like normal, or do you see them wanting to maybe even use his athleticism some like they have a Taysom Hill in the past in a rookie year?
I think that the ideal situation would be for him to get up to speed quick enough to be the primary backup. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. I mean, if we're being honest, you kind of watch how he plays. It's a little bit chaotic, and he's a playground quarterback. And, it's weird because I think the stuff he does outside of the pocket when everything's just wacky and going nuts, I think that's when he plays his best. I think when he's in the pocket, there's some stuff where there's room for growth. And is that going to happen in the matter of months to get him up to speed to where if Jameis goes down, he can come in and play? I don't know. I mean, but it could be a situation like last year where he would just need to be good enough to hold it down for a game, and then you go back to Taysom and take him off special teams and everything. So, I mean, if there's a long-term injury, I think it would still be Taysom no matter what, or, if Taysom started, it'd be Jameis, obviously. But, there are things with him that you see it. There's some throws, he can make some throws that are really impressive. I just think that he needs to take these moments that are 20, 30% and stretch it out to 100%. And, it's hard to see it right now, but I go back to Taysom, and I remember when they first signed him, I looked at his BYU tape, and it was horrible. Like, I didn't see it. I didn't understand it at all. And this guy's starting at a much higher point, and they almost got Taysom legitimate. Like, if he had played one game against the Falcons and then Drew came back, you might think that he has a chance to actually put it together and be, a lot better. The longer the exposure went, I think more of the warts came out. But the starting point to where he ended up, I mean, it's significantly different. So if Sean thinks he can do that with this guy, I mean, we'll see. I mean, again, I have doubts. It's a 4th-round pick. I think the odds are highly against any 4th-round quarterback. But if he thinks he can do it, well, we'll see.
All right, he is Nick Underhill. You can follow along on Twitter at Nick_Underhill. And also, NewOrleans.football is the go-to source for any Saints information. Nick, we always appreciate your time, brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Nick.
A lot to break down there. The Davenport-Turner comparisons, those are just always going to happen because when you select someone, you give so much up to get Davenport, and then you select defensive end. When you really go look at the tape, just like Nick mentioned, not the same guy. I mean, Turner can actually move inside a little bit and play there. He's really good against the run. He's still got to develop as a rusher. Obviously, Davenport was brought in because of his elite rush skills at UTSA. So a lot of great stuff. Again, you can follow Nick on Twitter, and NewOrleans.football is a great, great resource for any Saints information. All right, Moose, appreciate the fill-in.
Absolutely, man, anytime.
We'll see if JV is actually on time. He's typically not on time, but if he is, we'll have JV Justin Vincent sitting in from 9 to 10. Zach Von Rosenberg set to join us at 9:15. A lot still to come here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
To Ochsner.org today, Ochsner.org for all of your healthcare needs. Look, man, when you're talking about Ochsner, you're talking about the service that they offer are bountiful. And it doesn't matter if you're on the North Shore, you're in New Orleans, you're in Baton Rouge. Ochsner has facilities for you. Check out Ochsner Performance Training. If you're looking to get bigger, stronger, faster, junior high, high school, it doesn't really matter. They can help you accomplish those athletic goals with the latest and greatest in training techniques. And then also check out the new football academy that they have. Or if you just have any orthopedic needs, you got like wrist, elbow, shoulder, anything, let Ochsner be your guide to getting your health back and getting back to that quality of life that you had previously. Don't just accept that you have to have these nagging issues for all time. And don't just think that you automatically know what the solution is. Is it surgery? Potentially. Maybe it's not. They have the most cutting-edge non-surgical techniques in the best physical therapy facilities in the state. Go to ostrom.org today. That's ostrom.org.
I'm feeling good. So good. I just thought you should know.
Yo, Jacob Hester here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, the place that can be at your convenience during those inconvenient times. I know they've been that for me. I've got 4 boys, right? So sometimes stitches happen, and they have 6 convenient locations, one close to you to be able to be convenient for you. Remember, you can also check in online. PatientPlusUC.com is the website. That way you skip the line as well. Patient Plus Urgent Care Center, get in and get better.
Bayou Ford is open for business, and we want to earn your business. Stop in and see our selection of the latest Ford cars and trucks, as well as a variety of quality pre-owned vehicles, with prices starting as low as $5,000. Bayou Ford will get you the transparent information you're looking for, and when you're ready to purchase your new vehicle, provide the professional service you deserve. Located off I-10 on Belterre Boulevard in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. Don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
I've been doing business with Louisville for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This hour is brought to you by Spencer Callahan.
Good morning. It's 9 a.m. on Tuesday, May 4th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see thunderstorms with a high of 86. In case you missed hours 1 or 2 of the show, you can catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. Coming up on OTBOT, Justin Vincent sits in for the 9 a.m. hour, and Vikings punter Zach Von Rosenberg joins the show at 9:15. You can follow today's show on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN, or by subscribing to our YouTube for new content every day. You can also check us out on Cox Sports Television. OTBOT starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, they said I gotta come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, welcome in to hour number 3 of Off the Bench. OTBOT here. No T-Bob. You just saw Musso for 2 hours, and now we have got a national champion in that seat. That is Justin Vincent, former LSU and NFL running back, good enough to join us for an hour here on the show. And I didn't have to worry about when I text you about waking up early. I knew that the kiddos would have you up early, and so we were going to be okay to do some morning radio.
Yeah, man, I've been blowing and going since 6. The alarm goes off, and if it doesn't go off, then I can hear my kid on his speaker saying, "Daddy, can you come up here, please?" So yeah,
I can see Justice like having like a walkie-talkie and just like demanding, like, "Hey, you need to come up."
Well,
here.
I'll tell you what happened. So the other day, he figured out that he can talk down to me, and I can talk back to him.
Yeah,
and it's a wrap. Like I gotta hold my end and talk to him. At first, I thought we could just hear him. I didn't realize it had different functions.
Right,
and that's just been a train wreck.
Yeah, good luck with that. That doesn't seem like something's going to go your way.
Man.
So, all right, I do want to talk LSU Tigers in the draft real quick before we start talking about maybe running backs for this next upcoming season, because actually I do have some worries about the position heading into this next season. So, real quick recap, 21 players selected over the last 2 years. And as you know, you were a coach for a while over at LSU, you were in that department, you know how big of a recruiting tool that can be. We had Coach O on earlier this morning. You can catch that later on demand about, having 21 guys drafted, 14-7 over the last 2 years, and what you can really do. Because, like I said, as you know, that's a big recruiting tool.
Yeah, it's huge, man. To put that out there in the universe and let the kids that, especially that you're going after, look at the product that you put on the field and giving these guys an opportunity to go chase their dreams. So that doesn't do anything but boost LSU in the highest direction. Gives you an opportunity to get in some doors you probably wouldn't be able to get in. As insignificant as it seems sometimes, I think a lot of people outside of ball overlook the fact that those minute details are insignificant things that happen as far as them getting drafted. I mean, everybody gets drafted, this and that and other. But no, it doesn't happen like that. But be able to go in somebody's home and talk about, who you coached and what you've done for them, and them coming back for an extra year and all this stuff and putting themselves in position to go chase the dream. So that is unbelievable.
One of the biggest recruiting tools is to be able to have that personal story, that personal experience of A, B, and C, all the guys that had different paths, but they end up in the ultimate goal, which is the NFL. Because as we know, everyone that gets recruited and signed to a place like LSU, like you mentioned, they think they're going to be drafted. Now, it's very difficult to be drafted. Really good players go undrafted, but that is still one of the main selling points that you have to use in these living rooms to say, look, you play in the SEC, 65 guys get drafted. Over the last 2 years, we set the record, 21 guys get drafted. You can be the next guy who's a part of NFLSU and all those type of things.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, it's something that, I know LSU and Coach O take pride in, those coaches as well. I mean, this. I mean, ever since I think the year I came out, whenever NFL Network came down, Mike Mayock, we had Jamarcus, Craig, Dwayne, LaRon, they all went the first round. And it seems like kind of ever since then, at Pro Day seems like a circus. Like there's always been some of the top coaches in the leagues, some of the best scouts that we've seen, the guys that have been around for a long time, coming in because they know we have product, something that they want. And the thing is, I think, people outside of football also don't know is that, when those scouts come in, those coaches come in, they don't really go talk to Coach O. They talk to Coach O because that's a respectful thing for them to do. But, they don't need Coach O to tell them how good the players is. They get paid to evaluate. So when they come in, they meet with your Jacks of the world, your Tommy Moffats, Walt Holliday at the Academic Center. They want to figure out what type of person you are.
Yep.
Because
they'll talk to the equipment staff.
100%.
To see how you treated them.
Trainers too.
Yeah.
Including student workers, all that stuff, just to see how you treat those people in those roles, because they can't have you come into that organization and be a turd. They need you to be, they need you to be somebody outstanding, represent yourself, represent their brand. So all those things come into play whenever those scouts come in. So that also, catapults LSU in the right direction. It's a compliment to them because of the amount of guys we were having. If we had some bad dudes, nobody would ever come.
All right, I do want to talk real quick about the current Tigers moving into next season and the running back position. Obviously, you had a great career here playing running back at LSU as well, and you've got talented guys, and you have guys that have done it before. You've got TDP, who is a big part of the 2019 team and 2020 as well, and you have John Emery, who we know was very talented coming out of Destrehan. He's had moments, the Alabama run where he hits an 80-yarder, like that stands out to me. But you're waiting kind of for someone to be healthy and to take over that position. Now, you've got some young cats coming in, and as you know as well as anyone, as a freshman, you can be a star. Like, you can play right away at that position because it just translates. You can either run the ball or you can't, right? Okay, so you've got some young cats that can help out as well. But I feel I'm a little nervous about the position just because no one has taken that position over.
Yeah, with the lack of development, productivity at that position consistently, I think it not only worries you, but worries Coach Falk and Coach O as well. John, missed an abundance of spring because of injury. Ty Davis Price, was going through some things as well.
Mm-hmm.
He cut some weight, looks good. Just not having the consistent play, especially doing spring ball, to kind of catapult you into fall camp, gets eyebrows raised a little bit.
And
so
TDP was like the only healthy scholarship back.
And then we moved my guy from linebacker for the spring to give him some reps because they just didn't have any bodies. Coach Falk,
2 running backs.
Yeah, Coach Falk didn't want to blow them out, to kind of get these guys worn out. So yeah, there needs to be a good span of healthy, in that position for them to get some confidence and get some the wheels under going. So going into fall camp, they're getting an opportunity to showcase their talents because right now, I know Kevin is itchy.
Yeah, and
itchy.
In this offense, and Jake Peetz obviously has ties with Joe Brady. We all know that. We all know the story. And in the spring game, it showed there's going to be a lot of empty. There's going to be a lot of empty where the back is out and not just out there just as window dressing, as I've said many times, but out there with a purpose to be a part of the route combinations. And we saw even in the spring game, the back would motion into the slot and run 2-man route combinations. They're going to ask their backs to do a lot. And Clyde thrived in that role. Clyde played 91% of the snaps in 2019. It was the most of any Power 5 back in the country. They were in empty more than any team in the country. They were 5-man protection more than any team in the country. So that tells me, with Jake Peetz and knowing Joe Brady, that's going to get back to like it was in 2019. Those backs are going to be asked to do a lot. Now, LSU's had success in the past with running back by committee. You and I have both been part of those backfields that have won national championships. And we all kind of had our roles. We all did things better than the others. And, even in 07, once you were gone, we had me and Charles and Keelan and Richard Murphy and Trenton Holiday. Like, we all had our roles. So it's okay if you have that. But I don't know who's going to have that role of being the guy out wide. Bradford obviously has that skill set. He had some drops against Florida. A lot of people point to that. So they're going to need someone to step up in that role more than anything because you don't want to fall into tendencies as well. Okay, Bradford's in the game. He's going to be out wide. He's running a route. He's not going to run the ball. If TDP's out there, he's only running a hitch or a go. Don't even worry about him. You have to break all of that.
You got to find somebody who can be your Swiss Army knife. Somebody that you don't have to rotate, here and there. Yeah, rotate to give him a breather, but not rotate because of what we're asking him to do. He can't do it. Those are the things that they need to take pride in, especially this summer. Get in the jug machine, catch these balls, channel their inner Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry and catch 100 balls off the jugs a day. I mean, I guess offbeat that may seem for a running back, that needs to be done, especially what they're asking you to do. If you're not willing to do it and you get out there and you go look like who did it and why, and they'll have issues. And then the fans will start moaning and then calling for people's heads and all that stuff. So, hey, why not help yourself and put in the work?
When we were playing, you could have a back that was a 2-down back that he could run the football, couldn't catch, couldn't really pass protect, and it was okay. You could get by with that.
Allie couldn't catch.
I didn't want to put no name on it, but you did.
I said what I said. I hope he listened. He couldn't catch. He knows that.
Okay.
That ball used to beat him up.
I remember you saying feet for hands on Allie many, many times. But you could get away with that. Like Allie was so good at running powers and zones and stretches and all those type of things, right? But in this day and age in college football, like, you've got to be able to catch a football. Like, that's just something. It's not like a luxury to have a guy that can do it. You have to be able to do it. And
catching flares and check downs isn't going to cut it.
That's not going to cut it anymore.
You got to be able to run a route.
That's what makes these dynamic offenses so dynamic. And you look at last year, and you look at Travis Etienne and Najee Harris, the 2 backs that just went in the first round. They could do that. And it's 2 things that they had to work on. That's why they didn't come out as juniors. They put their names in, and they got evaluations. And the main thing was you need to get better in pass protection and catching the football. And they did both of those things because in college, you don't have to pass protect as much. You just don't. Like, you're going to now, like with Jimbo's system, you did. But again, the game has changed. Now you're either free release or you check your will linebacker to free safety and you're out. In the NFL, you're going to be asked to pass protect all the time. They got 4 down to Mike. You got every other swinging guy out there. If he comes, you got to block him. And you're blocking and protecting $100 million asset that's playing quarterback for your team most likely. So there's an emphasis there. So that is something that's worrying me right now about who's going to be that guy for the LSU backfield.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough task to try to figure that out. But I think they're more than capable. There's not like we don't have anything already in the garage that's not willing to drive this thing. I think they are more than capable of getting the job done. They just got to be patient, trust in the coach and do the little things, the extra things. And, like I said, catching the ball, if they got to go out there and get one of these quarterbacks to throw them some balls after practice, just take pride in the job they're asking you to do, because when those lights come on Tiger Stadium and that place is going to be full this fall, you better have it on your mind.
Allie Broussard writing. No, I'm just kidding. Allie's not.
I know he's not.
Allie's
probably sleeping.
I was about to say.
No, he's at work. I'm messing with him. Me and him were together a couple weekends ago, so yeah. No.
I did see that.
Yeah.
I did see that. I need to get some off the record. It's like actually off the record, not T-Bob, off the record stories of that meeting. All right, we do need to take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by the newest member of the Minnesota Vikings, still in purple and gold, Zach Von Rosenberg, set to join us here on OTB OT.
OTB OT.
Go to GEAUXroof.com. 927-8300 is the number to call. I just spelled it out for you, but GoRoof.com. GEAUX is the number. Well, that's not a number, is it? That's a website. Is the website to go to. Look, when you call Go Roof, first off, you're going to get an idea what it's like to work with them and deal with them, and you're going to really enjoy that process. But more so than that, you're going to get that free professional estimate. If you think you have a roofing problem, call them. They come out there. They look at your situation for free, so you make a fully informed decision about, okay, what do I want to do next? They're, of course, licensed, bond, insured, and they offer a 2-year workmanship guarantee on top of the manufacturer warranty. So they stand by their work before, during, and after the process. And you'll find that when you work with Go Roof, you get a beautiful new roof every single time. So what are you waiting for? GoRoof.com, 927-8300. When they answer the phone, hit them with the Roof Star.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Have you been arrested for DUI or other traffic violations? Have you made a mistake? We all have. You're not a bad person. Call the law offices of O.C. Brown at 225-343-1111 or connect with us online at ocbrown.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Bayou Ford is open for business, and we want to earn your business. Stop in and see our selection of the latest Ford cars and trucks, as well as a variety of quality pre-owned vehicles, with prices starting as low as $5,000. Bayou Ford will get you the transparent information you're looking for, and when you're ready to purchase your new vehicle, provide the professional service you deserve. Located off I-10 on Belterre Boulevard in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Tuesday's AFR, presented by Insurance Network of Louisiana. What undrafted free agents have the best chance to make the Saints roster? We're talking about it and recapping the Warriors' Pels. Join us, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
All right, welcome back in. OTB OT, no T-Bob. Justin Vincent here with us, though, sitting in for the final hour. And excited to catch up with our next guest, now former LSU Tiger and a Minnesota Viking after the news came out over the weekend. Zach Von Rosenberg joins us now. Zach, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Jacob. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. All right, so tell us how the process all kind of went down, because I know everybody's process is a little bit different, but I'm always curious from a special teams guy, and look, I was a core teamer. I appreciate my special teams guys, but how is that process for a punter? Like when you enter the draft and you kind of know that if you don't get drafted, you're going to have multiple options to be able to choose from. Kind of break down and tell our listeners how that all went down.
Well, it's kind of a waiting game, and you're making sure that you pick the right place, the place that you truly believe that you have a chance to win a job and win a spot on the on the 46-man roster on game day, or 53 rather. But man, it was a little bit stressful because a couple teams that I thought were going to come through after the day after draft day kind of flaked out a little bit, but it wasn't that big of a deal because I was just again, you just sit back and wait because you want a team. You don't want to be the guy going and seeming, I guess, desperate or whatever, saying, "Hey, I need a team." But no, you just need a team. The one team that wants you, and the Vikings were the one that came through. And man, I'm so fortunate just to have an opportunity to put another jersey on.
All right. So what's that process as far as schedule like? So now that you know which team it's going to be, and I know OTAs, and there's some teams that are not going to OTAs, and there's some that don't want to do all-season workouts. But for you, have you got a plan yet or a schedule of what you're supposed to be doing?
Yeah, so next week I'll fly down to Minnesota. They haven't given me the official time yet, but I think it's going to be next Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll fly to Minneapolis and then go from there. Really, I'm not sure the protocol just yet. I just signed up for their, I guess, the equivalent of their app for figuring out the schedule.
Right.
And I haven't really been able to look through it, but I know that once I'm there, I'll probably be there for a little while, and I'd like to be there a little while just to get familiar with the area and then punting there because it's different place. Not used to punting that far north, right?
Yeah.
But no, it's next week we'll be flying out. I'll figure out the situation and we'll go from there.
Zach, man, Justin Vincent here, our Lake Charles connection.
I knew that was coming.
You knew I had to throw that in there. But no, man, Eden Prairie is a little different. You're gonna have to get your mind right. When you pull up to that facility, it is not. And I mean, not even nowhere close to what you had at LSU.
I agree.
Like the state, the stadium obviously is unbelievable, but everything's out there in BFE, and it's small, but it's actually a nice area. It's quiet. I actually visited one of my coaches out there a while back, but I think you really enjoy it. And obviously, you got some blood out there from LSU, so I think you'll fit in quite well. But man, good luck to you, man. I enjoyed it. I feel like I've watched you for 20 years at LSU. I've seen you when you was young at Bar before you left to come to Zachary. So it's been an enjoyment for me to see you kind of flourish, man, and do your thing. And I wish you nothing but the best.
I appreciate that, Justin. He's being humble too. He's the guy that I, not just me, but all Lake Charles watched until he graduated from Bar. I went to that. We had a semifinal game at McNeese and watched him play against West Monroe, and he was a phenom in his own right. So don't let Justin Vincent be too humble on air.
Oh man.
Hey, and also something that Zach can kind of brag about now. He was drafted in the Major League Baseball draft, as we all know.
Yep.
Now signed an NFL contract. Hey, that's rare air up there. There's not a lot of people that can say they signed 2 professional contracts in multiple sports.
Josh Booty and
Matt Mock.
And Chad Jones.
Yeah, Chad Jones.
Chad
So-
Jones.
so
Yeah.
You and Chad Jones, you are the same athlete, right?
Oh, I couldn't think his name just now. I was just killing him.
Oh, me and Chad Jones? No, Chad Jones is a way bigger freak out.
Hey, but what does that mean to be able to do that, though? I mean, in all seriousness, to be able to live out 2 dreams. I mean, you played and you got drafted in the Major League Baseball draft by the Pirates, and then now you're signing with the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, that truly is rare air.
I mean, it's special. I can't even really describe it. More importantly for me, it's just the hard work paid off in a sense, and wanting it bad enough to say, you know what, I'm gonna commit the next after the season. I mean, 5 years to it, but after the season, I really just shut down kind of my life to train and be ready in the best shape of my life for pro day. I mean, I guess best punting shape, but man, it's just a testament to the work that was put in and how fortunate I am in my life to be able to do this. And I'm just, like I said, I'm so lucky that my position too is not I guess a taxing position. You can play a long time punting in the NFL. You know, it's not like playing defensive tackle where you get smacked around all game long, and you never know you're one hit away from an ACL or getting an injury. So I'm just very fortunate. I'm beyond blessed to be in this position.
Hey, well, let's not act like you're not seasoned already. Like, you're almost 30.
He is 30.
Oh, you are 30, right?
Right?
I'm 30.
Oh, see, so you're a seasoned vet already. But my thing is, like, so for you, playing in MLB, then coming here, and when it comes time for training or getting something done, there's really no immaturity level for you. You were way past that because you knew what it took to be successful, to put the grind in and do the work. And I think sometimes with a lot of young cats, you got to convince them to kind of do the right thing. You already have been through that process, so everything else I think for you will be downhill.
Right. Yeah, it's got to, just got to find my niche within that team. Because LSU, it was kind of natural, and I was there for so long. I didn't even play my first year, so it was it was an easy process, an easy transition. This transition might be a little bit different, but I think it'll kind of be the same that it was at LSU.
Hey, so how much do you pay attention? All right, so you sign with the Vikings. Like, what do you start to do? Do you start to research, okay, who was the punter last year? What's the contract situation? Because something else that you also know is it might not even be with the Vikings. Like, yeah, I know you're excited to sign with the Vikings, and that might be where your final landing spot, but you're also going to have the opportunity to audition throughout every practice and every preseason game and all those type of things. So how much do you start to look at the depth chart and kind of who's already in position?
I did that a couple months ago with my agent. We talked through who the guys in the NFL were, for lack of a better word, were on their way out just because they're making either too much money or they're getting it to the end of their career. And so we've kind of laid out who that was. And but yeah, you're right. It is an audition. Every single game, every opportunity, every time I'm on film, it is an opportunity to win a job elsewhere. So you're under a microscope. You have to represent yourself well because guys in the NFL want good people. They want smart guys that are going to show up and be a professional every single day. And that's just something that you have to bring to the table and let them know that you mean business. And, whether you're the Vikings or whoever, it doesn't matter. I have to show up and do my job every single day in, day out, and earn a spot,
Yep. All right, Zach, man, we're going to be rooting for you here in Baton Rouge. We appreciate you hopping on with us. We'll have to do it again soon.
Awesome. Sounds good, Jacob. Thanks
All
for
right,
having me.
there he is, Zach Von Rosenberg, former LSU punter, now signed with the Minnesota Vikings. Love his story. Gets drafted to play baseball, then decides to hang him up and go to school at LSU, and then decides to play football. And I think he was like quarterback and then a tight end, then finds his way to be a punter.
Yeah.
And then not only is the punter, but is a really successful punter who's one of the best in the entire conference. Great story. We all know that a lot of jokes have been made. He's 30 years old. He made a great point at that position. That's not a big deal. Like if you're a running back, 30 years old, you're done, right? But if you're a punter, you can play for 10 more years and have a very long career.
Yeah, he is. He's had a heck of a road, man, and he has. It's not done yet, So we'll see what's in store for him. But like you said, when he goes out there, Minnesota might not be his landing spot, but he has an opportunity to get signed and be somewhere else, but I think he'll be playing for a long time.
All right, we'll take a break. More football talk when we come back here with Justin Vincent on OTB OT.
OTB OT.
All right, brought to you by AdvantaClean. That's AdvantaClean.com. Go ahead and visit the website to check out all the services that they offer over at AdvantaClean. We always tell you about the doomsday scenario, right? That 24/7 emergency response. If you've got your water damage, your mold damage, you've got a leak that you can't control, they can handle that, and you don't have to panic about it because they're going to take care of everything. So we always tell you about that service. Again, AdvantaClean.com. But I always like to tell you about getting a plan in place. Like if you're a business owner, I own businesses, and I know that would be just the scariest situation if you walked in and you felt like I'm going to have missed days, which means missed revenue. We know that last year there was a lot of missed revenue because of the pandemic. You don't want to add on top of that. So call AdvantaClean. Get a plan in place. They'll know your business. So if it does happen, they'll know exactly what to do to get your doors back open. Again, that's AdvantaClean.com, AdvantaClean.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
A certified pre-owned vehicle means that it's been certified by factory-trained technicians. It meets a stringent criteria of over 155-point inspection. We want to make sure that vehicle is mechanically sound and that we have a warranty to back it up. There's no mileage limitation. You can be assured that you're driving a vehicle, you got a good value, you'll get that special financing, those special incentives on certain models, and some of the other amenities that you get with the certified pre-owned vehicle.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Can you feel it? Spring is almost here, and if you got a new boat for Christmas or you just want to take your boat to a new level, you want front-to-back boat service. HD displays, live sonar that show the fish before you cast, trolling motors. At Front to Back, they got not one, but two NMEA certified techs for all of your marine electronic needs. How does a brand new speaker system sound? Well, guess what? They do that too. So call 225-928-9644 or go to Front to Back Boat Service.
50 years ago on Easter Sunday, Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo proudly opened our doors, and we've been hopping ever since. 5 decades of connecting people with animals, teaching our community about the problems facing wildlife and how we can help, and working with zoos across the world to protect endangered species. Today, our future is taking flight by stretching the possibilities of what your zoo can become, while we keep it fun and affordable for everyone. Thanks for coming along.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need.
Join us for a Tuesday's edition of Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers, live from Mike Anderson Seafood from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We continue to recap the NFL Draft and why it was a bloodbath for the Vegas bookmakers. We got action. It's Game Time. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
All right, welcome back in OTB OT here with JV Justin Vincent to finish up for a couple of more segments. All right, we got to get results from our Citizens Bank poll question of the day, Mario. That's from yesterday, and then we'll give you a new one today.
Yes, that's right. So our Citizens Bank poll of the day yesterday was which team will Aaron Rodgers play for next season? Now, the choices were the Packers, the Broncos, the Raiders, who were the 3 betting favorites as of yesterday, or other is the 4th option. Right now, the Green Bay Packers is the leading option, 42% of our respondents. Behind that, you got other at 31%, followed by Broncos at 21%, followed by 4% that Aaron Rodgers goes to the Raiders.
All right, before we talk about that, because JV made a face, and I know what that face from JV makes, we definitely need to have that conversation. The poll question today will be, which running back will be the starter for LSU? TDP, John Emery, Bradford, or one of the freshman running backs. And so we'll have that up for you before the end of the show. But like I said, I've known Justin for almost 20 years now, and when he makes that face, he's got some thoughts on Aaron Rodgers and his situation.
Oh, man. Well, where do I begin? I personally think he's done in Green Bay.
Yeah.
There is, at this point, I don't think there's anything they can do to save face. They flew out to him individually. They flew out to him as a group. They flew out with a contract extension.
Yeah.
They flew out, just to save face in general. And he wants no part of that. Like, it's kind of weird because when you think of Green Bay, you think of 2 people. You think of Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre.
Mm.
And seeing that dude in the other uniform is just about as hard as it was for me to watch Tom Brady in the other uniform.
Yeah.
But it happened.
Yeah, I remember seeing Brett Favre in that Jets uniform because it was my rookie year, and it didn't look right.
Well, I saw him in the Minnesota Vikings one. I mean, they came to Pittsburgh for a playoff game, and I was just like, this is weird, man. But I think it's going to happen. I think he's gone. I mean, there's nothing more I think they can do or nothing more they can offer. I don't know what transpired. I really didn't pay that much attention. It's probably out there in the universe of why he doesn't really want to be there. But whatever it is, we already know how Aaron gets down. His interview after, he didn't get drafted years ago. That should tell you who he is. I don't think that man has changed too much.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Famer. Whatever he's asking for, I think they should give it to him. Bringing him back, I think he would sabotage them. It's to that point.
So the NFL, and you know this, the NFL does not have the player power that the NBA has. Even Major League Baseball doesn't have that. Like, you have no power. Now, there's some guys that have more than others, and A-Rod, I would consider one of those guys that has it. But as a whole, you just don't have a lot of power. It's just that's not what it is. The NBA, if you want to trade, you're traded within the week. You don't get that in the NFL. But the way that they've handled it, they've had a lot of missteps. And I'm not saying that he should have full power, but there's some guys in the NFL that you need to be transparent with, that they need to get the benefit of the doubt, that you need to have those conversations with. Look, Tampa Bay talked with Tom Brady before they selected Kyle Trask in the 2nd round. Like, they let him know, hey, we know you're not going to play forever. You know, it does seem like it. We're going to select a quarterback in the 2nd round, a groom under you. Obviously, you're Tom Brady. It's your job. Kyle Trask isn't taking your job. Andy Dalton, who has not taken a snap for the Chicago Bears, he got a call saying, hey, we're going to select Justin Fields here. We're moving up. We're going to take him, even though they put out the tweet QB1. He hadn't even played it down for him, JV, and they call him like, hey, here's what we're doing. Look, we want to be transparent. Here's what it is. Aaron Rodgers never got that call. He never got that call when they traded up to select Jordan Love. They did not select him a weapon. They just took their first receiver in the top 2 rounds, I think, in over a decade. They go defense heavy the last 10 years. I've said it before, he's got running backs wearing number 88 playing back there for him.
Yeah, Montgomery. Right? Back in the day.
And Ty Montgomery's a good player, but that was a receiver that they transitioned to running back. Okay, so they have not given him a lot of help, in my opinion. Now, he's got Devontae out there who's one of the best, but they have not given him a marquee free agent. In fact, there was a receiver that he complimented the other day. They've released him since Aaron Rodgers complimented him. So it's a bad situation. They did not do themselves any favors by just selecting this quarterback when every other team with a quarterback in his role. And even Andy Dalton, again, who's never taken a snap. Like, they're transparent with that guy. And this relationship cannot be mended. It's over. It's done. It will not be fixed. So if he's on your team, like you mentioned, he's not going to be all in like he normally is, fair or unfair. That's just the way. Even if he thinks in his mind, okay, I'm going to be all in, he ain't going to be all in. There's going to be those thoughts in the back of his head of how it all played out. I can't see him playing for the Packers just because of where the relationship is at. Now, what you can get for him, how that's handled, I don't know any of that. I don't know how they're going to go about that. They're not going to trade him, I believe, within the NFC where he can come back and beat them.
Yeah, I saw something the other day on Twitter. Somebody said their GM is giving me some serious David Gettleman vibes. Seriously. I mean, to think that you would tell somebody a certain thing and then do the polar opposite. And like you said, he complimented a receiver, then they let him go. They don't get him any weapons. Like, what? Like, I'm not quite sure what you want this Hall of Famer to do. He's already driving. I mean, you want him to supply the car too? I mean, it's like help him. Give him an opportunity. Like you said, the weapons or the lack thereof. I mean, Devontae Adams, I mean, is an amazing talent, but I mean, damn, this ain't high school. You can't throw it to him every time.
Yeah.
You know, so hopefully, you know, they can somewhat mend this thing, and I think the only way they can mend is by giving what the man asked for.
Jeff inside the Bayou 4 chat. Rodgers wants the GM gone. He's a millionaire. Suck it up and play. Sad state of football nowadays in the NFL, players are employees. I disagree with that in some cases. Look, for me, I was a fullback. Like, I was always going to go out there and play. It didn't matter what happened. That was just what was going to happen. I was going to go out there. Nothing was going to stop me from playing. Same thing with JV here. But there's some guys in some positions, and quarterback being one of them, where you have to handle things differently. When the guy's been the face of your franchise, won you a Super Bowl, you have to handle things differently. I'm not saying that he quits on his team and doesn't play because he still has teammates out there, but you have to understand there's a way to go about business. There's good business and there's bad business at all levels of business, and the NFL is no different. And to go select a quarterback when you were in that window to win a championship, you were just in the NFC Championship, you got back to the NFC Championship game this year, you don't think one more weapon would have helped that team get over the hump?
Yeah.
The quarterback that you traded up to select didn't dress in the playoffs, didn't dress in the regular season. He was the third quarterback who was in street attire every single game. He wasn't even the backup quarterback. And so this isn't someone whining, in my opinion. This is someone saying, we have this window, and these windows are so small in the NFL to be successful and be a championship team. And we had an opportunity to be that championship team, add a piece, add a receiver, add a tight end, add whatever it was, right? And we didn't do that. And so that's why Aaron Rodgers is upset. It is not him saying, oh, I want the GM gone. I'm a millionaire. I'm just going to go out there and play. Yes, they are employees. But, and I always hate the money aspect of this as well because, you know, Aaron Rodgers made them a lot of money. And there's just some guys that have earned the right to be able to get this type of respect. Aaron Rodgers is one of them. I was not. I was a fullback. But Aaron Rodgers is not that. He's the face of your franchise.
Yeah, I mean, just think about this. Yeah, he makes a lot of money. So does the damn owner.
Yeah.
He's a billionaire. You know, so it's just like any job, whether it's me at TAF or whatever. It's you here at the radio station. You just want people to do right by you. And you want people to put you in position to be successful. And if you feel like they aren't even trying to do that, I can see if they talk that talk and then they end up going a different direction. They're not even talking it.
Yeah.
They literally just go out and say, you know what? We're going to do this and do that. And, you know, even though we were in the championship game last year, we're not going to get him any weapons. We're going to let him sit back there and throw it up at the Devontae Adams as many times as he can, and hopefully that'll get us back there again. I mean, they're not even trying to help. Like, put his way, like in Pittsburgh. It's Ben's team, right? Like, if anybody who knows anything about Pittsburgh and has been around that organization, it's his team. You know, Coach Tom is the head coach. You know, Kevin is the GM. You know, the Rooneys are the owner.
Yeah.
But when it comes time to making decisions, the Rooneys and Kevin Colbert make things happen. You know, Ben said, I'll take a pay cut to be here. I will do X, Y, and Z if this is what I need to do. And I know this is two different scenarios as far as one trying to get weapons and one trying to persuade them to keep him.
Keep him, yeah.
But it's all revolves around if Ben wasn't in a position to help that team, they would move on. So, I don't know.
And something else that I hope people understand, and look, our listeners are smart. They understand this. When a new GM comes in town, like in Green Bay, he wants his people. He wants his guys to play, and it can be the greatest ever. And Aaron Rodgers is certainly one of those people, but he wants his fingerprints on this team.
Mm-hmm.
That's every GM I've ever dealt with. And I don't hold that against GMs. That's just the way it is. They want their draft choices to play. I gave the story of me in Denver the other day, JV. We're in third down. It's OTA time. I'm running with the ones because I was a third down back the year before. I catch an angle route. I go like 60-plus yards, right up the middle of the defense, score a touchdown. I was like, this is my job. I see Elway come over to the offensive coordinator. He's pointing to Monty Ball, who they just drafted in the second round, basically saying, no, Monty needs to be in that situation. We just took him in the second round. That was it. Monty was in every other situation in third down. Look, I understood it. I knew. Yeah. I probably knew it was coming because they want their draft choices to be in there because that's their future as well. So that part of it always happens. Very rarely do you get a GM and a quarterback that have the same shelf life with the same team. And that's why you see when a new GM comes to town, nobody's really safe because they want their guys to be able to be out there and be the guys that thrive.
Yeah.
So they can say, look, I drafted him, and that's part of their resume, not someone else's resume.
And it's like anything in life, from any job out there. And if you're the head guy, I want to get fired with my people if I'm going to get fired. I'm not going to get fired because you're making me keep something or do some things that you're already doing.
Yep.
You know, if you hired me for a reason, and if I'm going to burn, I'm going to burn with what I want to get burned with. You know, so, you know, love it or leave it. That's how it is. That's life in every aspect of it. So we'll see. But my thoughts are very strong that they just need to go ahead and cut ties now because he will be out there and will be so disconnected, it won't even be funny.
It's just too many examples, and I'll give a quick another example just for me personally, and I'm sure JV would have 1,000 to share as well. So once I decided to retire, and I was with the Saints in minicamp, decided to start this profession, get into broadcasting, San Diego, and still San Diego at the time, had just a ton of injuries at the running back position. Well, my running back coach was still there, Ollie Wilson. You know him. You were with him in Atlanta. Mike McCoy, who was my coordinator in Denver, was now the head coach for the Chargers. And obviously Phillip was still the quarterback, and they had all these injuries. And I knew the offense, and all three of those guys were trying to get me to come back and play. And I was like, yeah, if there's any team I'm coming back for, it's going to be the Chargers where I spent the most time. I'm ready. I'm in shape. Let's go. There's a new GM. The new GM didn't know me. The new GM didn't care that I played for Mike, that I played for Ollie, that Phillip wanted me. He went and he got someone, because he was with the Colts prior, he went and got someone that he knew with the Colts. Like, he had the book on him. He knew what kind of player he was. And so all these guys went to the GM's office like, hey, this is what we want. He's like, that's not what I want. I'm going to go get a guy that I know. And I wasn't upset by it because I understood it. Yeah. Like, I knew that that was a situation in the NFL, and that's just the way it is. They want their guys that they know because it is their job at the end of the day. And so it's crazy to think a guy like Aaron Rodgers can't change that opinion, but that's the way it is.
You know, that goes to show you that it's bigger than ball. it's about you know, people showing their power, and this is who I am. And but hey, I get it. You know, you can't knock a GM's hustle because, like I said, if you're gonna get fired, I'm not gonna get fired because you want me to have somebody. I'm gonna get who I want to get, and I'm gonna go down on flames on that, or we're gonna rise to the top. So, you know, forcing somebody. Some of you know, I heard something the other day. So whoever was supposed to take the Auburn job, they were trying to get them to keep Kevin Steele. Yeah. Oh, Napier.
Yeah, Billy Napier.
They were trying to get them to keep Kevin Steele, and he was like, "What?" So that's why
he just had a coup against the other head coach.
But that's why a FCS head coach decided to turn down the Auburn job. I mean, it wasn't because he didn't want to go to Auburn. I mean, he's been in the Power Five. He knows what that's like.
Yeah.
But they were trying to get him to keep somebody, and he was like, "Nah, I'm not doing that. Find you somebody else."
Yeah, Billy Napier has turned down Mississippi State, Auburn, Tennessee, South Carolina. My man's turned down a lot of jobs there to stay in Lafayette. All right, we're long. We'll take a break. Now, when we come back, we'll finish it up like we do every single day with Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cole Coors Light here on OTB OT.
OTB OT. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, We've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Bayou Ford is open for business, and we want to earn your business. Stop in and see our selection of the latest Ford cars and trucks, as well as a variety of quality pre-owned vehicles, with prices starting as low as $5,000. Bayou Ford will get you the transparent information you're looking for, and when you're ready to purchase your new vehicle, provide the professional service you deserve. Located off I-10 on Belterre Boulevard in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana Products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana Barbecue Sauce, Louisiana Molasses Mustard, Spicy and Sweet Barbecue Rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Join us for a Tuesday's edition of Game Time, presented by Bet Rivers, live from Mike Anderson Seafood, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We continue to recap the NFL Draft and why it was a bloodbath for the Vegas bookmakers. We got action. It's Game Time. 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
OTB, OT, with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
All right, welcome back in, OTB, OT. I forgot I was going to start doing my party trick every day, JV, because T-Bob has really tiny hands, and there's no way he could do this.
What?
Yeah, he has like baby hands.
Man, shut up.
So I'm just going to do this every day. It's Ask the Bench, brought to you by Coors Light, Busy Heart Seltzer, Blue Moon, Light Sky, Citrus Sweet. Hope you're listening, T-Bob in Cabo. All right, Ask the Bench. Has Jake or JV ever gotten the urge to coach above the Pee Wee level. I have not. I enjoy my family and the time with my family and coaching my boys in that Pee Wee level. But JV's actually been there, done that.
Yeah, I did, man. It's I think about it every other day as far as getting back into coaching and just being around it. I miss it. You might see your boy at a high school near you this fall. Not full time, volunteering because I love what I do at LSU, but volunteering just because I have that itch. And it's just it's one of those things, man, where once you're in and you get that back to that schedule and the regimen of doing things, it's tough now. Especially like as a player, it's tough, but as a man, as a coach, it's really tough because the time you think you had free time, there is no free time.
So I'm hoping this year to be a part of the U-High 6th grade team with my oldest son. I'm going to coach Knox and Hudson in flag football, and also Memphis. Memphis is going to have Matt Flynn and your boy here be his coaches. So we got 4 teams to coach, and Flynn's got to be the quarterback because it's the level where the coach is the quarterback.
We got to get the trifecta. I might as well put Justice in too.
Come on, he's the same age.
Same age.
All right, let's go. So. Can we put you on the staff?
Nah, see, the coaching part of the little people,
okay.
Little people make me nervous already. So you got to be a little bit older for me to say.
How about this? Flynn's got to be the quarterback, so if he throws a bad throw, we can ridicule him.
100%.
That's worth being there.
I am for that all day.
All right, ask the bench. How do the Texans go into the preseason and handle that quarterback situation? It's a difficult one. Obviously, there's legal issues all over the place. I don't really know what his status. Of course, Deshaun Watson's going to be.
That's the crazy part.
Right. So we don't know where they stand right now. Davis Mills was selected with their first selection in the draft. Obviously, they know that there's a strong likelihood that Watson will not be there. So they do make a quarterback their first selection.
But you know what, though? At the same time, how I view it, if he did something wrong, I hope he gets in trouble.
Yep.
But if he did nothing wrong, and this is just whatever it is out there in the universe, whatever you want to call it, how do you mend that? Like as far as like the Texans, because think about this, with all this going down, they haven't said anything.
And we haven't heard from Deshaun Watson either.
Yeah, nobody said anything. So I thought, in my opinion, if they were going to get rid of him, I thought it had been done already. Like it had been done. So obviously they're trying to wait till the dust settles and see what's really going to happen. Is he going to get arrested or whatever it may be? But it's kind of odd to see that they haven't made any statements, and that's what kind of gets your wheels spinning a little bit.
Yeah, that situation obviously still much more to come out of that. Ask the bench, what's Justin's thoughts on the current situation with Eric Gilbert? I don't think any of us really know what the current situation is. Obviously, we know he's been back on campus. I did find it funny that he took an official visit on a place where he played for a year.
Yeah, I think that's the only way he could do it, to be honest with you. Because he left. Well, no matter what, he's going to have to sit out because he missed spring. He missed spring class. He wasn't in anybody's classroom. So, if he can come back and win the trust of his teammates and the coaches, then I'm all for it. But if he's still on some, I'm going to be me and do whatever, my man, this ain't the place for you.
Yeah, obviously that situation's got a lot of moving parts, and it's a very unique situation. Commits to Florida, decommits from Florida, comes back to LSU for a visit, and like JV mentioned, there's a lot of hurdles that he would still have to jump over to be able to be eligible, and so that situation is definitely ongoing. All right, ask the bench, should a player in the draft have more say in where he goes, or should he just shut up and be happy? I understand what the draft is. The draft is what it is, and you get to choose when you're going to college, and you don't in the NFL. I don't think you should be able to choose where you go. There's an anxiety there because you don't know where you're going, and if you're lucky enough to get to free agency, that's where you get to choose. But that's a different conversation than one of the best to ever do it, and Aaron Rodgers having to say so in some of the decisions. Like the draft is the draft.
Yeah, I think the Eli Manning thing is we'll never see anything like that again. He forgot about that.
I am not playing for the Bush League Bolts.
Yeah,
I am going to the Giants.
Yeah, so I think people, just be happy you're in that league and opportunity to make that type of money. But they shouldn't have say so where you're going.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow. OT.